Hey, what's going on, everybody? My name is Matt Jarbo. This is not through it's Russell. I keep screwing it up every single time. I always end up screwing it up. But today is, in fact, the 4th of March, 2018. The stupid Oscars just stupid ended. And that's cool. I'm okay with that. I'm happy with that, actually. I'm very happy simply because this has everything to do with the fact that I'm not a fan of the Oscars anymore. I haven't been for, oh God, this is the 18th year that I'm not a fan of the Oscars. For me, it all stems back to February in the year 2000 when you had South Park for Bigger, Longer, Uncuts Blame Canada up against Phil Collins and Disney for the score or the theme song or the song to Tarzan, and South Park lost. South Park lost out to Phil Collins. Now, a lot of people out there are like, yeah, but it's like Phil Collins. I'm all like, yeah, no, I get that. Okay. Phil Collins is great. In the Air Tonight's a fantastic song. Everyone loves that song. Phil Collins is a treasure when it comes to music. But here it is, here it is 18 years on, right? Nearly 2 decades later. And can you think of the lyrics to that song? Can you even think about the movie Tarzan outside of Rosie O'Donnell playing the fucking ape? Can you think of anything? But if you start thinking about Blame Canada, you're just all like, no, I know the entire chorus of that song, right? So I'm just saying that that the Oscars are dumb. The Oscars are dumb. This time around, they obviously championed more when it came to victim bucks over marketing bucks, and there's a lot that's gone on with the Oscars as a result of the entire situation involving that stuff. So it all kind of goes back a couple years, right? So what you've got is the Oscars So White campaign. And the Oscars So White campaign started a couple years ago, and they're like, why is it that there's so many white people winning awards? And I mean, look, it's a valid argument, to be fair. There's lots of talent from people of all races, all right? But it does seem to be like this kind of small group. And the thing is, though, when it comes to top-tier A-list Hollywood talent, it is a relative small group of people. There's a reason why the same few keep winning the awards. And it has everything to do with the fact that, marketing money is what purchases the Academy votes. So then you had 2017. You had a situation with the Oscars So White hashtag where they decided to start kind of changing it up a little bit. They were gonna mix it up, the Oscars. That's what they were going to do. They were going to mix it up a bit. So they decided that they were going to open it up to open up the Academy voting. Right. And before it was like 6,000 people, and they were going to start removing people from the list, people who had not won Oscars, because usually once you were in the Academy, you were in for life. And this meant like old curmudgeon-y white actors that were kind of like screwing everything up according to this new rule that they wanted to put into place. So they started cutting those people loose, and they started opening it up to other people that were active in the industry, therefore making it more of a diverse voting block in terms of what type of people would be voting on these movies, which, hey, look, at the same time, I'm not against any of that. All right. Like, we do need more than the same type of people always voting on the Oscars. It's not like it's not like the Golden Globes, which is from the Hollywood Foreign Press Association, which is literally 90 people. This is thousands upon thousands of active people working in the industry. But the problem this time around was that it stopped really being about the films, at least in terms of the marketing leading into the Oscars and even the presenters on the stage tonight. And it had everything to do with basically who was the most oppressed. And if you followed some of the social commentary on Twitter, man, it really made you just get up there and kind of go, oh, geez, right? But that being said, Shape of Water won Best Picture, and that's a good goddamn movie. So I'm very happy that Shape of Water won. I'm very happy that Roger Deakins finally won Best Cinematographer for Blade Runner. He should have won it for a litany of other films that he's done. He's been nominated 14 times. This was his first win. So one must ask the question, was this a legit win, or was this the Oscars just kind of giving it to him? The same goes for Gary Oldman and Best Actor for The Darkest Hour, right? Is this him winning for The Darkest Hour, playing Winston Churchill, or is this him winning as the bad guy from Fifth Element, or Leon the Professional, or I saw a super chat there I will read here in a quick sec, but there was a super chat for $5. What about Dracula, Bram Stoker's Dracula, right? Like, the Academy will do that. They'll eventually award you for something to kind of make up for the rest of it, right? It's kind of like they gave Peter Jackson Best Director for Lord of the Rings Return of the King, when in reality they wanted to give it to him for probably The Fellowship. So there's that. That's my complaint about the Oscars and everything else. Oh, by the way, I just want to quickly point out, Chelsea, I am never, ever, 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 ever going to be looking at one of your links, watching the How It Should Have Ended for The Last Jedi the other night, completely demonetize the entire video by a copyright strike. So hey, what's going on, Steegy? Thanks. You're sitting here. I haven't been able to keep up with the streams, but you're here tonight. Thanks for watching. Appreciate it. And then Eastside Guy did also say, it's never too late for Gary Oldman to win an award for Dracula. For that, I do abundantly, absolutely, 100% agree. But real quick, I want to take a quick look here at the stories I got lined up, because I'm missing one, so that's not good. But take a quick look there at the chat as well. All right. You watch these shows mainly because you love the industry. Look, I love the industry too. I just can't stand the award shows. It might be also because when I worked in LA, I worked for the company that provided the flowers for the Oscars. So that was pretty crazy. The Oscars are racist if Black Panther doesn't sweep next year. I wouldn't be surprised if Black Panther goes up for like Best Picture or something. Right. I'm also a little bit miffed that James Ivory won for Call Me By Your Name instead of James Mangold for, or whoever the hell wrote Logan. I think Logan was a much better screenplay. So there's definitely was that. All right. DRP69, nothing yet. I'm just ranting about the Oscars. Drinking some, what is this? Strawberry lemonade Cascade Ice. Is the volume low? Hold on. That should change the volume a bit. That will fix it. So, as I pointed out in the thumbnail and everything else, Jeff Holiday will be joining me here in a little bit, so that will be a lot of fun. My goal, just so you guys know, is to start trying to bring in people a couple times a week, not every single night, because I do 5 shows a week. That's just too much. But maybe bringing in like a couple times a week, bringing in other YouTubers with the intent of more like talking about the YouTube side of things. In fact, going forward, a fair amount of what I cover is going to be kind of Google, YouTube related. I'm going to be focusing quite a bit on that because I since it's relative to what I do, and I want to be sure to talk about a lot of what's going on, especially in regards to the company, the platform, the future, what's going down with all that shit. I think this is going to be a good mix. So if you have some people that you want me to try to get to come on that are YouTubers, and I'm not looking for a specific size or higher, like it could be big or small, definitely let me know. I see Pimp Monk is in the chat. I'll be going on Pimp Monk's show on Tuesday morning at 8 a.m. my time, because this is what I get for accepting a morning show invite from a guy who lives on the East Coast. Thanks a lot, dude. No, I'm kidding. Hey, what's going on, Ranting Monkey? So I'll definitely want to be bringing in Ranting Monkey at some point as well, maybe later on this week if he's available, in order to talk about some stuff. Accelerator, $2 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. Razorfist. Yeah, I'll bring in Razorfist. I want to get to know him quite a bit because his review of Kingdom Come was pretty good. Well, I don't know if I'd so much called it a review as it's just like 11 minutes of glowing praise on a game that ultimately deserves it. I don't know about you, but I am so balls deep in Kingdom Come right now that like I don't want to play anything else. I literally just want to play Kingdom Come all day because that game, it like now that I've understood the combat system a bit better, like I'm able to parry a lot better. And oh my God, I was taking on a group of guys. Like I had to go to clear out a bandit camp, right? So I'm trying to clear out a bandit camp. And I roll on up, and these dudes are all armored head to toe, and I actually end up getting their attention while I'm on kind of like this, I want to say maybe like a mini cliff or whatever, and I lure them up to me, and I end up like knocking a couple of them off. I end up killing one dude with a single bash to the head, and his body goes like rocketing off this cliff. It was great. It was great. And then I'm all like, bring on, come on, bro. Come on, bro. You know, and they're all speaking at me in their whatever language or funny, stupid Czech language and everything. It was great. It's fantastic. Ozzy Mandius, $2. Penis. Good stuff. Good times. Good stuff. So I see that Champ is here. Sorry, you're not going to become a mod. I was spoken to by the other mods and they told me no. So, you know, I got to go with the majority rule here for my mod team, my mod squad. So there's definitely that, but let me just quickly Once again, double check. All right, there's that. There's that. Okay, and then of course there's the one about the Icelandic thing. Which where the hell is that? Oh, don't tell me I closed that out and forgot about it. There we go. I did. Okay, so one of the things too that I realized, one of the things that I might have done a little bit wrong. So if you guys were here last week, you know that I recorded 5 stories and then I posted 3 the next day and I saved the rest for the weekend. So over the course of yesterday and today, I dropped like 10 videos. Might be a bit too much, as I think 5 is a bit too much. So we're going to just do 4 tonight and see how that whole thing takes off and how that does. I don't want to, there's always things I can talk about. There's always a litany of stuff I can talk about here. And part of that has everything to do with, you know, me not wanting to like overdo it for you guys. And I want to make sure like, you know, there's no subscriber burn, although there probably is at this particular point. So there's definitely that. Let's see here. Okay, hold on. Jose, $2 super chat. What are the odds, overall thoughts on James Woods? James Woods is a decent actor. And he's kind of a bit of a Twitter troll. Like this dude, he sued someone for like 5 million over some tweets. So I don't know if that even went through at all. Let me just take a look. James Woods Twitter lawsuit. Okay. He dropped the lawsuit. This was, June of last year. So he ended up dropping a $10 million lawsuit that he had filed against an anonymous Twitter troll who basically called him a cocaine addict. And he was trying to go for defamation charge, basically, or like a defamation case. I'm like, I don't know if you could really sit there and argue that like calling James Woods a cocaine addict would really count as you know, as that, but I guess it did. So there's that. You know, I like him as an actor. I don't like him politically, but you know, I can separate between the two. It's getting more and more difficult, to be honest with you. Separating between a personality and an actor, or their work and their personality is getting harder and harder and harder the more I pay attention to them, which is really sad because while I like a lot of these people, I like a lot of their movies, it's really difficult to watch a lot of their stuff. So there's definitely, hold on. There's $2 here from A&W for AW saying, you rather people be given or earned their awards. I rather people be earned their awards. That's why I don't like the Oscars. I don't feel like the Oscars, people really earned it in many cases. I feel like this time around, it was more about your victim bucks. That was what got you the nomination versus whether or not it was good. Like Get Out winning Best Original Screenplay. I mean, the movie was really solid. I'm glad it didn't win Best Director or Best Picture. It should not have won either one of those. But it was a good movie. I really, really liked it. And if they did a sequel or something like that, I'd be on board to watch that. But it was still a bit of a recycled concept. It was Stepford Wives, but just with like a black slant. And even then, it was just kind of like there's one line of dialogue in Get Out that they never really got to. And it was, the whole point was like, I don't want to spoil if you haven't seen it, but it's the question of why black people, right? And that was like never really explained. I mean, it's left ambiguous. It's meant for you to figure it out, but it's also kind of like a little bit heavy-handed. Because it's just one of those things. It was interesting. Steegy 77 here for $5. I mean, a lot of super chats right up front, so I'm thankful. We'll get into the stories here in a sec. Do I think that the Me Too movement will just destroy the dating scene because men will be too afraid to talk to girls in the near future? It's going to have repercussions and ramifications. There is no greater seller of the MGTOW movement than hashtag Me Too. Not even kidding you. Because what you're seeing now, and this is true for the Oscar parties tonight, and I thought about covering this in a story. And I might end up doing it towards the end if I feel like I have enough time. There was Oscar parties are not inviting the press into Oscar parties because of the Me Too movement, because of the Time's Up movement. They're not inviting them in. They don't want there to be any kind of gotcha journalism, because the question now remains, who is going to be accused of something tomorrow? Right? Aziz Ansari won Best Actor at the Golden Globes for Master of None. The next day, that Babe.net article came out accusing him of all that stuff they accused him of, which of course there's been no movement on that. It's been all silent out of his camp. So yeah, right now we're not going to see really anything for, you know, I have a feeling there's not going to be any bigger push for MGTOW than there is going to be with this movement, because people are afraid. They're afraid now that looking at a woman and saying hello could be viewed as sexual harassment. When you have tweets online of women that, and I'm not sure how true these all are, but I see them every once in a while where they're like, oh, this man opened the door for me today. What a shitlord, what a shithead. Does he know I'm here to smash the patriarchy? And it's all like, so manners of holding open the door is now considered an act of the patriarchy. Like, do you not understand how crazy that mindset is? Do you not understand that when you take common human decency and you push it onto this idea, this notion of the patriarchy, that you're not going to be causing a problem, like you're not going to be causing a huge issue, right? Like it's or like the long lasting reach of that is going to be fear. You had a guy a little while ago who was accused of turning down, of being homophobic towards a gay classmate in college. The classmate Title IX'd him. And the kid that, basically was told, you can't talk to any other students in class. You can't discuss anything about the case with anybody, and you're kind of like on your own. And he ended up killing himself. And you basically find out that the guy kind of made it all up. He had hit on the student. And when the student rejected him, he decided to make up the claim about the kind of being homophobic and stuff. And, as a result, that kid committed suicide. So this is what I'm talking about right now. When you've got these situations with these accusations, they destroy lives because our system is designed around no longer due process, but elevating the victim to kind of like pedestal status to where they cannot be questioned. You cannot question their motivation or their motive for or the legitimacy of their claim. And then what we find out year after year is more and more of these claims are false. More and more of these claims are manipulated, and more of these claims destroy lives, and people take their lives. Look at the woman in the Me Too movement. She was a producer. She knew Rose McGowan, worked with her under Harvey Weinstein when, everything else. And she was brought into this. She was dragged into the fray. And she took her own life a few weeks ago. She was an innocent. Took her own life. Depression got to her too much because she was being accused of some shit from both sides. And that's the thing. No one cares. Rose and Harvey both kind of issued a statement kind of expressing remorse, but neither one has changed their tactics. Rose especially has doubled down in the weeks since. So what we have is we have a system. We have this kind of like rule of law. That's not the law, but like, I guess, rule of the land, where if you are accused, you're done. I mean, look at Ryan Seacrest, for example. And I know I'm like way behind on shit here, but Ryan Seacrest was essentially accused and investigated, found no wrongdoing. And then now the reports are coming out like, why is Ryan Seacrest not being treated the same way as, let's say, Kevin Spacey? And the thing is, Ryan Seacrest denied it. Investigation from E determined that there was nothing wrong, nothing bad had happened. So therefore E had said, okay, you're fine. And then everyone's like, but no, hold on. He was accused. How dare he still be allowed to work? He's been accused. And this is the problem with the Time's Up movement and the Me Too movement. This is what they do. And this is the big problem. So we've been seeing ourselves really kind of, come to this point of, I almost want to call it pure retardation, because that's really what it feels like. That's not going to go away unless more people stand up. But because we're in peak award season in Hollywood and nobody wants the negative press, because the negative press could hurt their chances at winning a golden statue, that's basically just a glad handing from the industry that you're in. No one wants to say anything. So now that that's done, and award season isn't happening again until like next, I think, November or something, or kicks off around like November, December, maybe some shit will get done. But now you've got people that are kind of like paying into this Time's Up legal defense fund as a way of penance. And that's going to be used again to file lawsuits, civil suits against the accused. So people aren't going to have their day in court to defend themselves. They're going to be accused. A very, very, very well-funded legal defense fund is going to pay for that person to get railroaded through the system. If they're not able to accurately push or provide a defense, they will lose that civil suit. And the thing is, civil suits there's a much lower preponderance of evidence than a legal suit would be. That's why you're not seeing people go to Twitter, or why you're not seeing people go to the police as much. You're seeing them go to Twitter, to Tumblr, to Facebook, because they know that by going there, no one will question them. No one will ask the hard follow-up questions that need to be asked. And we're going to find ourselves in a situation going forward. It's a dangerous game. It is a huge, insane, dangerous game. To go back to my point, that will lead more men down the MGTOW path of not wanting to date, engage, or get married. You might, in fact, start seeing an increase in prostitution in certain cities, or pick up in like Vegas or something. So I'm just saying. I mean, I might come across, it might sound a bit tinfoil or something, but that's where we are. That is just where we are right now. It's all over the damn place. I know. I know. I apologize. I'm not meaning to go all crazy and shit on this, but that's a big freaking thing. Okay, so that was a long 20-minute rant. MGTOW for life. MGTOW. I'm not MGTOW, but I definitely understand. You know, it's I kind of get it, right? Like I think many of us out there kind of get it, to be honest with you. I really do. I think we understand more than we want to admit that we are. So before we jump into this here, again, like I said, Jeff Holiday will be on here in a little bit, so I'm going to get through these stories pretty quick. If you want to help support the show, people have been doing it through Super Chat, which is fantastic. But if you don't want to give Google your money, which I totally understand, and after going through a few of these videos or these stories, you may not want to. You can go streamlabs.com/mundane Matt. Also, I just want to take a quick look here. What are we sitting at? We're sitting at 40 likes. 40 likes. Come on, guys. 100 likes. It's Sunday. It's Sunday night. 100 likes. Let's go. Let's go. All we need. 60 more. 60. That's it, baby. That's it. All right. So make a soy face. I'll tell you what, Mr. Fool. You want a soy face? $5 donation. I got a shill. I got a shill, baby. I got a shill. I'll do the soy face for $5. I'll tell you that. I'll tell you what. With that. But let's get into the stories here so we know that we are on the right track today. Okay. So, I may have mistitled the story wrong when I put it on the title, but we're gonna lead with that because this is an interesting story nonetheless. But first up, guys, you know you love it, you know you want it, you know you need it. Oh, snaps for traps, baby. All right. With Bitcoin being as crazy as it is right now, there is going to be a lot of people out there telling you, don't do it, stay away, don't mine for the crypto, all while using it as a method to scare people away in order to open it up more for them. And on the other side of that, you got people out there that are just going ballsy and going like, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to go steal some stuff, which is what happened here with what is being affectionately known as the big Bitcoin heist out of Iceland, where right now 600 powerful computers were stolen. That's a lot of mining equipment. 600 computers were stolen. And they're all about Bitcoin mining. So this is going to be interesting to see where it goes. Now, it says some 600 computers used to mine Bitcoin and other virtual currencies were stolen from data centers in Iceland in what police say is the biggest series of thefts ever in the North Atlantic nation's history. I mean, even though it's you know, kind of like a virtual currency and you can't hold it in your hand like Scrooge McDuck, still, it's kind of funny to think about 600 computers being stolen. That requires a lot of effort. That requires a lot of work, and that's pretty crazy. So it says here that, oh, shit, hold on. Everything kind of froze. Oh, all right. Snaps, because this is what happens to do it live. It says here that some 600 computers used to mine Bitcoin and other virtual currencies have been stolen from data centers. Some 11 people were arrested, including a security guard, in what Icelandic media have dubbed the big Bitcoin heist. A judge at the, I'm not even going to attempt to pronounce that Icelandic name, district court on Friday ordered 2 people to remain in custody. The powerful computers, which have not yet been found, are worth almost $2 million. But if the stolen equipment is used for its original purpose, to create new bitcoins, the thieves could turn a massive profit in an untraceable currency without ever selling the items. Which, let's be fair, that is probably the intent of stealing that freaking many. It's not just to go and take the $2 million in coins that's there. It's to use the computing power to mine more and to be ahead of the curve and to get your hands on a lot of that virtual dough. That's why I find this to be fascinating, because it's not necessarily a funds heist as it is just equipment. And it's entirely untraceable because you're never going to be able to know who's mining what and what system they're using. Like it's a perfect, not so much to say perfect crime, but it's a very well thought out one. However, 11 people have already been arrested, including a security guard. So it goes to show you that quite a bit of this was probably well like funded, well organized, well planned out, and definitely had an inside guy. Now it says that this is grand theft on a scale unseen before, said Olafur Haigli Karharsson, the police commissioner on the southwestern peninsula, where two of the burglaries took place. Everything points to this being a highly organized crime. And it almost feels weird to kind of talk about this because, like, it is bad. It shouldn't happen. You should never steal anything. But at the same time, it's also like, tell me more. Like, how do they do it? How do they break in and steal 600 computers? Because, I mean, it's a computer, man. I mean, it's like if it's like a pocket PC or something, it's still, that's like a lot of movement. That's a lot of sophistication. Now, 3 of the 4 burglaries took place in December, and the 4th took place in January, but authorities did not make the news public earlier in hopes of tracking down the thieves, which is definitely for the best. You don't want to always make this kind of thing public. You want to be able to go and try to track down your leads and see if you can find the bad guys behind it. But at the same time, there is the risk also of wanting to put it out to the public, let people know what's been stolen, and then maybe have someone out there overhear something in a bar like, oh yeah, no, these guys over here were talking about this thing, and so maybe, you know, they know something, you know, and then get the public involved in order to help kind of narrow it down. But the likelihood of them having kind of probably any outstanding leads for all of it was probably very minimal. But they didn't, you know, the security guard is probably the guy who brought down the other 10. If I'm being like truthful in my opinion, that's what I think. Now, Bitcoin is a kind of digital money that isn't tied to a bank or government. It has been hugely volatile, posting some dizzying intra rises and falls over the past year or so. The price of a single Bitcoin rocketed to nearly 20,000 late last year and then plunged early this year. On Friday, it was trading just below the $11,000 mark. Hey, that's a lot better than when it plunged to its lowest. You know, there are people out there when this thing hit 20K that were going out and taking second mortgages on their home and then investing in Bitcoin, only to a couple weeks later be like, you know, it's not as bad as like the great crash during the Great Depression, and no one's like throwing themselves off of buildings yet. But still, Bitcoin is volatile, and it shows you that this kind of heist really does, really can bring out a lot of people to try and capitalize on the success of that, or capitalize on the craze of it. And this is a pretty big thing. Now, Bitcoin and other cryptocurrencies rely on the blockchain, and the name given to the public distributed ledgers which track the coin's ownership. The Bitcoin ledger is powered by miners, so called because they throw computational power into the system, occasionally receiving or mining new Bitcoins in return. Drumming up that computational power usually means lots of computers, thus lots of electricity. And it's kind of like, it almost feels like, you know, when you hear stories about how police were able to track down like meth dens, right? Or like grow operations in houses. They look for spikes in the neighborhood in terms of electricity. They use like, you know, heat sensors to look at different houses to see who's glowing up. There was a story I heard about the other day where they caught an illegal grow operation in a house during the winter because it was the only house in the neighborhood that snow literally melted off of the rooftop because the house was so warm. That's how they tracked that down. I mean, these are kind of like just common things. When people they think that they're going to get away with it from, you know, from inside their home, they ain't. You know, it's one of the reasons why as soon as, you know, you might be able to find places where there's lots of renewable energy. So like in, let's say Vegas, for example, or like, because there's a lot of, you know, solar powers out there. If you get a whole bunch of solar paneling, you may not be able to run a lot of computers, but you might be able to power a couple, and that couple might be all you need. And therefore, you're not at that point, you're not even remotely wasting any, you know, any energy. So there wouldn't really be any spike on the grid. However, there is also the environmental impact of that, but we won't talk about that now. Now, the desire for energy has created a gold rush for Bitcoin in Iceland. Traders searching for cheap renewable energy have been flooding into the island in recent months to take advantage of its geothermal and hydroelectric power plants. Like I said, you want to have renewable energy that's cheap and efficient, and that is something that's definitely going to work out. Plus, of how cold it is, it would keep the servers cool if you have it in that right kind of location. So it's kind of like, I mean, it's kind of like the best place in the world to mine for Bitcoin, right? Feels that way, at least. Therefore, a perfect place to kind of launch a heist. So, yeah, this is a smart play. This is a very smart play. The police tracking the stolen computers are monitoring electronic consumption across the country and hope the thieves will show their hand, according to an industry source who spoke on the condition of anonymity because he's not allowed to speak to the media. Now, again, like I said, they will look for these sort of things. But the thing you have to realize, and the funny thing you got to realize here, is by saying that, even though it's March and this happened back in December, January, if any of the thieves are reading that, they're going to be like, shut it down, shut it all down, and not as a way to further avoid the police. Now, unusually high energy uses might reveal the whereabouts of a legal Bitcoin mine. Authorities this week called on local internet providers, electricians, and storage space units to report any unusual requests for power. And again, this is what's going to bust them. This is going to be like the modern age version of a grow house or a meth den operation of sorts. The same thing is going to give it away every single time, which is super fascinating. So, in Edinburgh on Friday, the Bank of England Governor Mark Carney launched a withering attack on cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin and urged regulators around the world to monitor them in the same way as other financial assets. And this is where I think 2018 and beyond are going to be very interesting, especially when governments start getting in on the Bitcoin trade or the cryptocurrency trade, and they want to start regulating it and they want to start treating it like everything else. And right now it's like the Wild West. It's a gold rush. There are people that are making a lot of money, and there are people out there that are getting hosed, and the whole thing's crazy. But it's still fun to talk about nonetheless. Now, in a speech to the Scottish Economics Conference, Carney said that a global speculative mania has encouraged a proliferation of new cryptocurrencies and said they should be held to the same standards as the rest of the financial system. Being part of the financial system brings enormous privileges, but with them great responsibilities. And I definitely agree with that. I do. I think that what we've seen right now is a thing where you've got people that are trying to cash in on this gold rush. But unlike gold, which is a very physical, real thing that fits in the palm of your hand, or, well, specs or whatever, this is a digital thing. And so it can be easily stolen and easily passed around, as we've learned. And it requires a lot of energy and requires a lot of stuff. So it's kind of secretive. People have referred to it as the millennial currency. I'm not sure how much I believe that, but I've heard it referred to as that. That being said, I do hope that the Icelandic police are able to catch the 600 machines and return them. But it's been over a month, and the people are probably laying low and maybe moving over to another country or trying to smuggle them out the best way that they can. Or, and let's be probably the most realistic here, they're probably breaking them down for parts and then shipping them out in that particular fashion. That would be the best. That would be the best way. Is you've got the 600 machines, which, yes, are awesome. They're pre-built. They're ready to go. But your best bet would be to disassemble them, take like the hard drive and the motherboard and the power, all that stuff, especially your graphics card, and then send it off and reassemble it someplace else. That way it's untraceable. That way the cops aren't going to be able to figure out where it's going. And no one's going to question small packages going out with various computer elements, because we live in the digital age and that's where you get your stuff. So will they ever be able to actually catch these particular thieves? Who knows? But part of me really wants to see this done as a movie. I think it's got a cool enough idea. It just needs a super kind of awesome cyber hacker, cyber terrorist angle to it that can only be stopped by, let's say, John McClane. Okay, I just want a Die Hard 6. All right, I'll be honest about that. Bitcoin's not unusable these days. You have to just know where to go use it. You heard the coded message? Good. Now you know what. Now you know what I've been up to the whole time. All right. Snaps or traps, guys. Remember, slap on that like. Slap on that like if you like what you see. 73 likes, guys. 210 people watching. We can do this. 73. Okay. We've done the snaps. We've done the traps. Let's get on with the fucking show. So a couple days ago, news broke that Google is accused in a lawsuit of excluding white and Asian men in hiring in order to boost diversity. Now, this is a story that I find to be just utterly hilarious. And the reason for that is simply because of this. Google is screwing itself, right? We had the James Damore memo from last year, the AKA the Google memo coming out from AKA the Tech Bro. James Damore, a man who I saw in person just a couple weeks ago and who looks like he's 90 pounds soaking wet, who ultimately wanted to try to change the status quo at Google by approaching it from a biologist perspective, the differences between the genders, of how to make it more diverse and inclusive, thinking that could actually do it. And of course, he was pushed out of Silicon Valley for being the sexist, misogynist person that he is. Even like I said, he's like this most soft-spoken, sweetest person. And then this particular story broke, which just further shows you that Google is really having a rough time, because not only did this story break, there's another story where they're being sued by a female engineer who basically says that Google was discriminatory against her. So now we're really kind of coming into this whole he said, she said situation, and no one really knows what to make of it. But this lawsuit kind of does show you a bit of the situation involving the problem in Silicon Valley, where white men and Asian men do make up the top demographics. And I think right now, like the highest paid demographic in America are Asian men. Like they make the most money. And so they're now, because even though they are a minority, but they're the top dog minority, and they're not really a minority anymore in terms of this particular discussion, they're now being attacked. And it goes to show you that these people will literally eat themselves if they could. Now, Google has been slapped with a lawsuit by a former recruiter who alleges the internet giant fired him for complaining about hiring practices to boost diversity that says he discriminated against white and Asian men. Filed in San Mateo County Superior Court in January by Arne Wilberg, who worked as a recruiter for YouTube, the suit alleges that parent company Google set quotas for hiring underrepresented minorities. And this is the thing. Look, here's the thing. I've talked about this before. I really hate those kind of diversity hires. And it's one of the reasons, the reason why I hate those kind of hires is not that I'm like, oh, it should be white people only. Of course not. Of course not. I look at it from the perspective of this. You can lead a horse to water. You can't make him drink. And if a person does not want to work there or does not want to work in that position, then trying to fill a quota is not going to make your workplace environment any better. Hence why we're seeing these lawsuits right now. That's a problem. Unfortunately, when it comes to Silicon Valley, because they're so invested in like social media, because that's where social media originated, and the largest voice, the loudest voice, the most annoying voice on social media is generally social justice warriors or the regressive left or just those extreme liberals, then they feel like they have to listen to them when they don't, but they feel they have to, even though we know, like the social commentators and you people watching at home, you know that these people, they never actually buy the product that they're complaining against. They don't go out there, they buy it. They really don't. So it's pointless to give in to their demands, but they still continuously do it. And YouTube's really done it. And if this is to be believed, which I do actually very much believe, that trying to have underrepresented minorities being the primary focus of a hiring, and for hiring engineers it sounds like YouTube. Now, Warburg also alleged that management deleted emails and other records of diversity requirements. He says he was fired in November for complaining to his managers and human resources about the illegal and discriminatory hiring practices. Google spokeswoman Gina Scagliano said the company will vigorously defend itself against the lawsuit. Well, of course it will. It has the money to, but ultimately, let's be realistic here. They're probably going to end up settling. Just like if James Damore can get a bit of a foothold because he lost a labor board appeal, but he still has his other lawsuit. They might end up actually settling on that one. Susan Wojcicki made a comment that for 2018, they want to focus more on women, female creators, that they want to give a spotlight to people who they feel aren't getting the spotlight. And so they say, oh, women are underrepresented on YouTube. So we want to make sure that they've got more push, more sway. And the thing is, though, to people that, you know, work at this as a full-time job, and they talk about this kind of stuff as a full-time job, like they know what it takes to do YouTube, and it's based a lot on how much effort you put into it, how much work you put into it, if you're any good, things like that. It's an entertainment-based system. So that's how the meritocracy levels work here. But trying to force feed people down a creator down someone's throat for the sake of diversity or inclusion, you really do a disservice to that person, because they don't earn what they get, essentially, right? They don't earn what they get. They just come in off that popularity that a lot of people don't believe that they've earned it. Like, I'll give you an example. I'll use myself. A couple years ago, Gamergate happened. I had just about 17,000 subscribers when Gamergate hit. As a result of that, I skyrocketed up, and I've been going up ever since. And there are a few people out there that believe that I do not deserve the success that I have as a result of Gamergate, because I just rode that wave. But for those of you who know, I post videos pretty much every single day. I do live streams most nights of the week. I work for what I have. I feel like what I've earned myself. That's why when I got my 1,000 or my 100,000 subscriber silver play button, I freaking cried, man. Holy crap, did I just let the waterworks flow. And I'm totally fine with that, because I felt like I earned it. I would feel bad if, because I was given that, because of either my gender, my race, or my religion. And that's one of the things I hate about this kind of diversity hire, is that it takes away the person's right to fail. And it takes away their right to push harder, because it's handed to them. It's sad, because it doesn't need to happen. Now, she says here that we have a clear policy to hire candidates based upon their merit, not their identity. At the same time, we unapologetically try to find a diverse pool of qualified candidates for open roles, as this helps us hire the best people, improve our culture, and build better products. Does it? Because we're seeing a lot of crap coming out of Google and YouTube right now as a result of that. You know, we're seeing a lot of crap coming out about that. And that's not necessarily the best way to go about it. So you got all that problem going on, and it's only going to bite you in the butt. Now, the lawsuit comes amid heated debate over the technology industry's efforts to increase low numbers of women, African Americans, and Hispanics in its ranks. To kind of point there, if you look at the types of, let's say for men versus women, not so much the racial breakdown. You've got out of every 5 computer science degrees, 1 goes to a woman. And there are 20% female hires at Google. Therefore, effectively, it is going in line on a 1-to-1 ratio with what is coming out of colleges and universities with those computer science degrees. So those engineers are kind of exiting at that rate, and Google is hiring at that rate. So, I mean, that's the whole point. That's what James Damore was going after. He wanted to find a way to change that in order to maybe bring in more women, and then maybe get more women into going to college to get the computer science degree. That is how you actually kind of work towards change, by suggesting something. But when he suggested it and he wrote it in terms of an engineer, and it got out and it went viral, and it was spun and twisted into this thing that was ultimately negative and used against him, he was let go. And we're seeing more things coming out even after that now with this particular lawsuit. So there are a number of factors involved with Google and YouTube that they do need to look into. But I would not say that trying to hide behind, oh, we really do like to resort to meritocracy, is a hill they want to die on, because they kind of, even though they say that, you know, they go the other way too. Now, facing pressure to diversify its workforce, Google began publicly sharing data on a racial and gender makeup of its ranks in 2014. The Silicon Valley's company's attempts to re-engineer its mostly white Asian male demographics to include more women and people of color have put Google in the crosshairs in the nature's culture wars. And I understand why they want to do it. I do. I understand why they want to change things up. If you have more people from more different places, you can get, I think, a broader understanding of the world at large. And that might be what they're going for here. And I get that. But how they've gone about it is utterly ridiculous, and that's why it's in the middle of the culture war. Now, former Google engineer James Damore sued Google in January, alleging the company discriminates against conservatives and white men. Damore was fired last year for distributing a memo that argued Google's efforts to increase diversity were misguided, in part because of the biological differences between men and women. And that's a very simplified explanation of it, but at least it's playing it from a non-gendered perspective, right? If this was like this is USA Today, this was like Wired.com or TechCrunch, he'd said that women are inferior to men, right, with completely ignoring the context in the memo as to what he was getting to. Now, some Google employees who advocate for diversity and allege the company is not doing enough to protect them from harassment campaign by their coworkers following Damore's firing has subjected them to hateful comments and violent threats. As one former employee has sued for pushing back against racism and sexism, Google has also been targeted by a lawsuit and the Department of Labor investigation into whether it underpays women. So that's going to be the next fun thing to talk about. That really is. It's going to be the next fun thing to talk about. So if you want people to be equal, you got to treat them as equal, obviously, pay them as equals, obviously. But we know that when it comes to the tech world, white men and Asian men are the predominant ones who are attracted to that. More Asian than white in this particular regard. And as a result, they make more money, and they've been in it longer, and they've done their work. And then what happens is that people see, especially the social regressives, they see that people are doing better than them, and they want a piece of that pie. And so they fight to get in, and then when they get in there, they see that it's too hard or something. So then they want to change, dumb down, and they want to meet it. That's kind of where we see a lot of this stuff. It's unfortunate. It's really stupid. And I'd very much like to see more people out there enter into STEM fields and through college if they want to, and to go out and to change the world for the better. But the thing is you have to look at it from very much a binary perspective, ones and zeros, right? You're chasing down the evidence of a hypothesis, of a theory, and you have to follow that wherever it may lead. But the problem is we're no longer looking at that from that perspective. Now it's from the, do we have enough women hired here in order to get this project done? I don't know if vaginal computing power is going to add to getting a new app made on the Chrome store or something. I mean, it might, if they were testing, a little gizmo you click on, you clip to the clitoris and then it judges how horny you are. I got no idea. It's stupid, to be honest. I will admit that was stupid. But ultimately, it's one of those things where if you want this, you should seek the best person. So to that, I will reiterate the part I like to reiterate the most, which is this. If you want to make sure that you look for the best person, take their resume, remove their name. That's it. Remove their name. Look at their qualifications. Then you pick based off of that. You don't know if they're a man. You don't know if they're a woman. You don't know if they're white. You don't know if they're black, Asian, Latino, trans. You know nothing. And then you can judge them based upon their skill set and what they've obviously lied about in their resume. That's how you do it. But because they don't want that, because they want to look like they are quote unquote woke, we're going to see more lawsuits like this and more BS out of the tech industry that ultimately doesn't need to be there. Ooh, pardon. So, yeah, it's good times. Good fucking times. Never from a binary perspective. I'm talking ones and zeros from computer, but yeah, I get your point. I get your point, man. All right. All right. We got the super chat here from Alfonso Ontiveros saying, you bought YouTube Red, good features, but the originals suck. I completely agree. I love YouTube Red on my phone. I listen to it all the time. I haven't watched one full thing out of the YouTube originals because it's not for me. But YouTube Red helps out when videos get demonetized. So that actually really does help out. But anyway, let's jump over to the next one here, because we're going to be talking about Alex Jones. right? When we talk about some Alex Jones, wait, hold on. I got to try to find one. There was a video I wanted. I totally forgot to pull it up. Work, goddammit, work.
I want you to consider this, especially if you
there we go. Okay, this is the one that I want to. This is from a couple days ago. Okay, cool. Well, just want to make sure it's muted. All right, this will come up here. All right, snaps or traps, guys. Say it with me now. Snaps or traps. And also 96 likes. Come on, 227 people watching this thing right now. 96. We can get more than that. We can do more. Come on. Put it to you. Put it to you. I know I burped because this stuff is like really fizzy, and it happens. You notice my shirt says woke. What's up? Also, it's Vader. Yeah. All right. Let's jump into this. Am I recording? I am recording. Okay. YouTube has found itself in a very precarious position as of late. This mostly has to do with their attempt to control a lot of the content that is coming onto the site that is not going to be putting YouTube in the most positive light when looked at by advertisers. We saw this in 2017 with the adpocalypse. It's continuing somewhat this time around, but it's way more targeted than before. In 2017, it started with the British government pulling their ads from YouTube because they found that they were running alongside white nationalist and nationalist videos as well as ISIS videos, and the BBC and the British government were just like, whoa, whoa, no, dog, we cool, man, we cool, no, we're fine, screw that noise. And that's a lot of what happened with that one. And then of course I came over to the United States. Well, not really the United States, but they targeted PewDiePie. And then after PewDiePie, they found the Chief Keef video that was running ads with the N-word, hard R in the title, and just it kind of spiraled out of control and brought us the apocalypse. But this time around, this year, they are focusing on the bad actors, and they've kind of chosen InfoWars as that particular type of bad actor. And this is where we're seeing a lot of the comments about the YouTube purge. But I'm having trouble seeing what I've been trying to find these channels that seem to be taken down. And it's not thousands upon thousands, as Alex Jones is saying, but there are channels that have been targeted. YouTube has apologized, but I don't think they're apologizing for this one here. Now, it says advertisers flee InfoWars founder Alex Jones's YouTube channel, saying some of the biggest brands in the US have ads running on the YouTube channels for far-right website InfoWars and its founder and notorious conspiracy theorist Alex Jones. And they say they had no idea YouTube was allowing their advertising to appear there. And that is what we knew about in 2017, was that they would, they kind of just sell their ads to YouTube, and YouTube just puts the ads out there. This time around, they've been a lot better. They're being a lot better still doesn't work well for me, but they've been a lot better in terms of selecting. The advertisers now have more control over where their videos go. But again, they're probably not always paying attention. And when things are going good and Jones isn't going all crazy, they're probably more happy than not that their ads are running on his videos, which is why this comes across to me as definitely a blowback for some of the stuff that he has said. Now, last week, YouTube reprimanded the conspiracy theory site in Jones for violating its community guidelines after a video posted to the Alex Jones channel, InfoWars' biggest YouTube account, claimed a student anti-gun activists were actors. Now YouTube and Jones' channel are in the spotlight again. CNN has discovered ads on InfoWars channels from companies and organizations like Nike, Acer, 20th Century Fox, Paramount Network, the Mormon Church, Moen, Expedia, Alibaba, Home Away, Mozilla, the NRA, Honey, Wix, and ClassPass. Now, let's call this what it is. This is the exact same thing that the Wall Street Journal did last year with the Chief Keef video. It is the exact same thing. Right? Those guys are the ones that found the Toyota ad, the McDonald's ad, and the Starbucks ad running on that video with the hard R. But we know out of that one that video only made $20.44 over a 6-month period. But here we're seeing these are some much larger. These are about as large as the same companies. And given how things have been over the course of the past week with all the companies pulling out of the NRA and companies saying we're not going to be selling AR-15s anymore, this sort of action was pretty much kind of going to happen regardless, I think. I don't think there's any way around it. It's just kind of the next step. But they went after InfoWars. Even an ad for USA for UNCHR, a group that supports UN refugee agency UNCHR, asking for donations for Rohingya refugees, was shown on an InfoWars YouTube channel. Yeah, but here's the thing: is like the other day, I think it was like Thursday, not only my channel but many other channels, we had ads that were running NRA videos, like full-blown NRA ads, even to the point of where like my audience was like in the video comments were going like, there's an NRA ad running on this, and like they're tweeting me like, do you know how much NRA ads are running right now? And then other YouTubers are chiming in going like, damn man, there are a lot of NRA ads running today, because NRA did a huge media blitz trying to gain back some kind of positive press in the wake of what happened after Parkland. And I'm sure Jones probably got a bit of those as well. But you can see predominantly that this is one of those moments where they are trying to really go after them. CNN is polling a Wall Street Journal. And yeah, I'm not a fan of that. I'm not. InfoWars and Jones are known for peddling conspiracy theories, including a false idea that the Sandy Hook Elementary School shooting in Newtown, Connecticut in 2012 was a hoax. Jones said that. He retracted it later, but he did say that at first. He's tried to distance himself from those claims. He's tried to kind of change how he says those things over the years in order to not come across like a freaking kook. But no, he said them. This is one of the reasons why people don't like Alex Jones. When he goes on this particular type of rampage, you're like, dude, I get it. You think Hillary Clinton's a literal demon who wants to come and eat your soul. Fine. But like, don't try to sit there and say that 20 dead kids ain't 20 dead kids. And the kind of conspiracy out of that the parents were crisis actors and the kids were crisis actors, makes its way around every single time there's a mass tragedy. It just gets really old after a while. Now, the brands purchase ad campaigns from YouTube, which is owned by Google, or through marketing companies that broadly targeted demographics and user behavior. Companies that purchase ads this way don't necessarily know where their commercials will end up, but they can use exclusion filters to avoid having them appear on certain channels and certain kinds of content. Probably that whole limited ad state, which is annoying as hell. Several brands expressed concern about the ads placement on to CNN, and they said to have reached out to YouTube about the situation. Well, yeah, because when you draw that kind of attention, all right, when you contact these companies, and that's what they did, they contacted the companies and basically like psst, psst, hey, your ads are running on InfoWars. What do you support these kind of theories or something like that? And it's just, again, I'm not a fan of that. I feel like it's running to mommy and daddy. You know what I mean? But like, then again, over the course of the past week, InfoWars has been targeted multiple times. Like Alex Jones was running around last night saying like, YouTube is going to be taking down our channel. And now they posted videos like an hour ago. So they're fine. That's one of the things is every time a channel gets like, I don't know, gets hit or something, they run out there and they're like, the sky is falling. The sky is falling. That's a lot of what I see, unfortunately. Like at this point, I no longer stress the limited ads. I wait till I appeal them, and if I don't get approved, then I get bitchy. But otherwise, every video gets it. Every video gets it. You know what I mean? So it's kind of like there's that you're just used to now. But yeah. Anyway. A Nike spokesperson said the company was disturbed to learn that we appeared on the Alex Jones channel. It has since asked YouTube to address why the channel wasn't flagged by the filter it had enabled. Well, the thing is, though, is unless they specifically, I think, want that channel, what you've got InfoWars has like 2 billion views on that channel. It pulls in numbers. It's got 2 million subscribers. Or almost 3 million, whatever. It pulls in lots of numbers. So Nike is not gonna sit there and look at that as a bad thing. Eyeballs on screen equal eyeballs on ads equal money in InfoWars pocket. And they're not ultimately going to be upset about that unless it's brought to their attention. They really do want willful ignorance here. Like, what are you talking about? Our ads are running there. We had we had no idea. Come on. No one buys that after the adpocalypse. No one. No one who does this as a job buys that after the adpocalypse. Now, Nike, like some other brands, opted into a sensitive subject inclusion filter to better control where its ads appears. The exclusion filters include, according to YouTube, tragedy and conflict, sensitive social issues, sexually suggestive content, sensational and shocking, and profanity and rough language. Well, the thing is, on Alex Jones, you're not going to find profanity and rough language. His stuff is syndicated. It goes out to radio stations, right? He plays it. I mean, there's sometimes you might hear a couple things, but for the most part, he doesn't do that. Tragedy and conflict, yeah, but not everything is tragedy and conflict. Sensitive social issues, he may talk a little bit about some of that, but again, it doesn't always fall under that category. Sexually suggestive conflict, unless he's taken off his shirt, I can't quite see that. Sensational and shocking would probably be the number one. But that's really about it. And if you look at those, they're vague. And if you apply them to what InfoWars tends to do, it doesn't always fall under the radar, right? It's like what I do. I cover sensational and shocking stuff. I sometimes drop some dirty language, but for the most part, it can vary depending video to video. And so some stuff gets through, some stuff is whatever. It's not a perfect system. So it says we have a filter and brand safety assurances. Oh no, YouTube did not respond to questions from CNN about whether the channel should have been excluded by any of those filters, saying we have a filter and brand safety assurances from Google. Our content would never run around offensive content, a Paramount Network spokesperson said, adding that the company is trying to find out what went wrong. Well, it also depends. When they say that they found those ads running on those videos, I guess the question boils down to, and I have to ask this question, which videos? That is a fair question. Right? An Acer spokesperson confirmed the company had also reached out to its partners at YouTube, saying its existing filters should have prevented this. The spokesperson said the company has set up additional filters to further block its ads from appearing on divisive channels in the future. See, this is what's crappy, is I could be considered a divisive channel. I don't really run Acer ads. I don't know if I ever have run. If you've seen one, let me know. But I may not be able to get those anymore because once those guys put on the harder ad, like the harsher filters, then it does trickle out to people like me. Which is crappy because then I lose money again for being for something else someone else did, which is crap. I'm just saying. We take great measures to ensure our ads do not run on videos of sensitive content, a spokesperson for Grammarly, an online grammar checker, said. It was aware their ads had run on InfoWars channels and had been working closely with YouTube to ensure it didn't happen again. Dude, I've run Grammarly ads. I know that much. So, and they've popped up on videos about sensitive and shocking subject material. So it's kind of like, I think what it is what we're going to see here is we're going to see a specific list of categories of channels that are going to be on the blacklist. That's what I think we're going to see. I think that's ultimately where YouTube's going to go with this. Because it seems to make sense as to them wanting to do that. And a half hour after it sent CNN that statement, Grammarly ads were still running on InfoWars YouTube channel. Its ads were also running on a YouTube channel that did not appear to be affiliated with InfoWars, but reposted InfoWars videos. Man, I feel like CNN's a gigantic narc here. Also, a half hour later, okay. A Grammarly spokesperson said on Saturday the company had not been aware of the ads, saying we have a stringent sensitive subject exclusion filters in place with YouTube that we believed would exclude such channels. We have asked YouTube to ensure this doesn't happen again. CNN has asked YouTube for further comment but not heard back yet. Honey, a company that finds discount for shoppers online, told CNN it unknowingly spent $169.64 to promote its brand on the Alex Jones YouTube channel. Honey said that its first video ad appeared on the channel on January 21st, and that eventually its ads on the channel received about 300 plays that day. Yeah, but they take Google takes I think 55% or 45% of that or something. So they're not getting more than $100 out of that deal. Saying it's clearly outside our expectations that this would happen by using their sensitive subject exclusions tool. The company ad continued to play on Alex Jones' channel until Wednesday, when CNN asked if it had any comment as to why the ad was still running there. Probably because they weren't able to get it off there yet. It might still be in the system or some stuff still got there, just failure to connect, I'm guessing. A spokesperson for 20th Century Fox said the company was unaware that its ads had been placed on InfoWars' YouTube channel after learning that had immediately taken it down. The company believes that its existing filters should have prevented it showing on the InfoWars channel. Again, I've seen 20th Century Fox, ads run. If they're pushing an aggressive marketing campaign, it doesn't really matter what the video is. They will run it through. They want eyeballs on the screen. They'll take it. And here they're just pleading ignorance. I really do feel like they know what's going on, but to the greater narrative of this, they're pleading ignorance. Now, a spokesperson, so it says the company is now having further conversations with YouTube to make sure this never happens again and has asked for a refund. Yeah, I guess get it where you can. A spokesperson for Mozilla told CNN, "We have explicit exclusions set up for our YouTube campaigns and should absolutely not have appeared alongside the content. We are disappointed to learn that YouTube's filters are not as effective as promised in preventing advertisements running alongside objectionable content. We've since reached out to Google and paused our advertising on the channel." A spokesperson for USA for UNCHR said that the group's first time running ads on YouTube and that it would now pull ads from all of YouTube and has asked for the money spent on InfoWars related channels back. A spokesperson for the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints said that it's paused the specific ad campaign that ran on InfoWars YouTube channel and are looking into whether other ad campaigns are similarly affected. So for people who re-upload and repost InfoWars content to make profit, which there's always people that do that kind of stuff, they're not going to be getting any money at that too. And this is, again, kind of where things are with YouTube, because it does kind of, there's a lot more here, but to finish up here, it says it's unclear if Jones has specifically profited from the ads. YouTube allows channels with over 1,000 subs and 4,000 annual watch hours to be monetized. At least 7 of the 11 InfoWars related YouTube channels fall into this category, including the Alex Jones channel. Look, here's the thing is, yeah, he's making money. He's making money if they're making money. That's the whole point. Now, a source with access to YouTube's Creator Studio management system said the videos on Alex Jones' channels were claimed by Jones' media organization, Free Speech Systems, LLC. Depending on which policy the advertiser selects, a share of the money it pays YouTube could go to Jones' company. Yeah, it would, because, again, that's kind of how they work. The thing you got to remember here is with Alex Jones and a lot of other channels, ultimately YouTube wants to get paid. They want you to get paid. They want the content. They want the eyeballs. They want the people. And so even though right now they're trying to make that claim like, oh, we didn't know. We didn't know. We feel bad about this. It's generally crap. It is. It's generally crap. They know. They're fully aware. And not everything that Alex Jones talks about on InfoWars or his personal channel falls into those particular categories. Does he say some pretty heinous and abhorrent stuff? Absolutely. Even here, this video that popped up a couple days ago, 2 days ago now, saying the Florida shooting happened. Crisis actors are MSM hoax to censor the web. This is them trying to deflect from the nonsense that they've come up with, even going as far as still perpetuate the lie that CNN had, gotten those kids, tried to rewrite that kid's speech and feed him answers and stuff. That's in this video that hasn't been pulled down, and it's still being used and spread around on freaking InfoWars. Never mind the fact that Fox and Sean Hannity came out, and Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity came out and had to acknowledge, yeah, that didn't happen. And so that's part of the problem here, is that InfoWars is very much a false news, a fake news outlet. And that is where they're going to find themselves in a lot of trouble here. But they have the views, they get the numbers. And because they have that, and because oftentimes what they talk about feels so far left of center, or really right of center, and it's not inflammatory enough to get under, to get on YouTube's radar, they're just not going to say anything. Because at the end of the day, the transaction is utterly straightforward. Everyone gets paid, which is the whole basis for, running videos on YouTube to an extent, especially with someone like Alex Jones, and anyone who does this as a full-time career. And that's why YouTube will look the other way. So, I so far they haven't said anything, but the fact that CNN went after them like a basic bitch, just cracks me up. And honestly, as much as I dislike Alex Jones, I want to still see him stick around, if anything, just to smite CNN a little bit more. All right, here's this next one. Because I have to respond to this one. Get some water. Well, it wasn't one of those kids at the LA shooting. No, he was at LA. He was in LA. He used to live there. You're thinking of David Hogg. He used to live there. There was all that kind of stuff, and then he ended up. No, he's not a crisis actor, for Christ's sake. I find that to be really, really, really funny. Okay, I'm gonna try to blaze through this last one here. It does feel like it's a little bit on the long side. Let me just run through this here. Yeah, we'll blaze through it. Cause I gotta talk about this one. Because you can make a living on YouTube. I want... right. Snaps or traps, guys. Snaps or traps. One of the things is... no. I don't like that opening. In just a month, I will no. In just a month, it marks the 3rd anniversary of me being a full-time YouTuber, right? I started in April 2015 when I moved from San Diego to Oregon. Now I own a home in Washington, and I love what I do. I get to do this every single day, and I love my career. So when I see an article like this on the Washington Post saying why almost no one is making a living at YouTube, I just have to stop and go, oh, come the hell on. Come on. What are you talking about? So many people are doing this. It's not as bad as it seems. It's a little crazy right now, but it can be managed if you know what you're doing. And people like Todd C. Frankel here clearly don't know what the hell it is they're talking about because they're not talking to the people that legitimately do this for a living to see whether or not you can do it, right? Now, also, they're really wanting to look at, focus on Logan Paul here because him being the top vlogger and how much money he's pulling in and probably how much money he lost after the shenanigans a couple months ago. You see what's going on here. And also, this is not the only article like this I've seen floating around today. So yeah, other people are picking up on it as well. And I think they're doing this because what you have is you have the establishment media that is going after the independent media or the alternative media, and they're trying to basically dissuade you from doing it. And I'm here to tell you, if you want this, if you want to do what I do, you can do it. It's not that hard. I mean, well, it takes work, but it's not as crazy as it may seem. Now, one of the main attractions of YouTube is that anyone can become a star. There are no gatekeepers, no talent agents, and no television executives that need to be won over. Stars can come from anywhere, and they do. As evidenced, I'm not a star, but, this is my job. Forbes' recent list of the richest YouTubers is proof. It's filled with people who post clips about playing video games or kids playing with toys. The top spot went to Daniel Middleton, known as Dan TDM, the 26-year-old British gamer, and he earned $16.5 million last year. Oh, screw you, Dan. No, good for him. But a new study finds that the odds of striking it rich on YouTube or even making a modest living are small. Again, maybe. But not, I mean, nothing's 100%, right? But trying to say, oh, it's small, you're gonna find the success you want here. I don't believe that. Reaching the top 3.5% of YouTube's most viewed channels, which means at least 1 million video views a month, is only worth about $12,000 to $16,000 a year in advertising revenue, according to Matthias Bartel, a professor at Offenburg University at Applied Sciences in Germany, whose study is one of the first to examine YouTube data for clues about how this works for creators. What? I pull in 2 million views a month, and I get I get more than that on a per year basis. I get more than that, and not much. Well, no, I'm not sitting there and say much more. It's significantly more. It's not like I'm rich or nothing, but it's, I can buy myself a video game and not freak out sort of thing. But this is just $16,000 a year for 1 million views a month. Oh, what? No way, man. No, that's like, no way. Bartle found that it's gotten harder and harder for new creators to reach the top, as YouTube, which is owned by Google, adds 300 hours of video every minute, and the biggest stars become more successful. The median views per video plummeted to 89 in 2016. A decade earlier, that number was 10,262. At the same time, YouTube's biggest channels are gobbling up more eyeballs. The top 3% of channels received 64% of all the views in 2006. A decade later, the top channels took 90%. And that actually has everything to do with the YouTube algorithm and how they play favorites. So this isn't really about like, oh, it's so much harder to get ahead because you've got 300 minutes or 300 hours of content every minute. It has everything to do with how the system itself pushes towards certain things. And that is one of the reasons why you as a content creator, if that's something you want to do, have to wholeheartedly pay attention to what the hell is going on and what changes are coming in order to be prepared, be one step ahead. There's a reason why I'm still able to basically have my head above water to keep afloat. This is what I do when I'm not making videos. I'm paying attention. So this study is crap. It's already crap. A YouTube spokesperson in a statement said the services continue to see a tremendous growth for its content creators, with the number of channels earning at least 100,000 a year increasing more than 40% in the last year. But again, those ones, which ones are they? And are they the ones that are given more space on the front page? All right. Like we know, like a video like mine is never going to make the front page, right? Unless I talk about maybe certain, not even then, it's not going to happen. But we still provide a valuable service, and we still have a hold on a niche market. Now, what's happening on YouTube is occurring across the web, where creators are finding the long odds of success in the online world and not so different from IRL. In fact, they might be worse. In music, song streaming services such as Spotify and Apple Music have mostly benefited superstar acts. No one needs to fight a music label to get their song distributed, but getting listeners is a different problem. Less than 1% of songs represented 86% of the music stream last year, according to Nielsen. And the thing is, but being a musician and being a YouTuber are not the same thing. All right. Like trying to get people to listen to your song that you spent 4 or 5 months working on is a lot different from me talking about current events and having the right title, description, and tags and thumbnail and putting it out there. Like it's just on a daily basis. It's just not the same at all. Because a few people buy music these days, making even a little money from streaming requires songs to be played millions of times. This has hurt the music industry's middle-of-the-road acts the most, the kind of musician who once would eke out a decent living selling several 100,000 albums a year and touring the nation without break into the mainstream. Increasingly, such acts face the pressure of going viral or going home. It's just a paradigm shift in the industry, but they're really trying to sell it doom and gloom. The music industry has been stifled by its own negligence for years, and how they didn't get into the Napster game and push that back in 2000, and they tried sticking to the traditional needs, and that's where we're currently seeing a lot of that butting of the heads. Same with television, movies, and in news. In television, so many new shows are being made that no one can watch them all. Nearly 500 scripted original series aired last year. The traditional networks are being challenged by cable outlets and streaming services. This has led to new opportunities for actors and writers, but the new era has distinct challenges, including shorter seasons and less predictable schedules that make it harder for many to make ends meet. Well, the thing is, though, is that they pay them enough during the seasons, but meant to carry them throughout the year. And then they use the popularity from being on a TV show to score movie gigs, which then pay more money, and they shoot during their off season, which then also adds to them working out more and more and more. Then if they get popular enough, they can easily get endorsement deals or sponsorship deals, which then help even further. It's a system. You see, it's a system. What they're referring to here is one cog in a clock. In a machine. It's taken out of context makes it seem way worse than it is. It's just true. Competition among YouTube creators is fierce, but has also led to trouble. In February, YouTube suspended all advertising on the channels run by Logan Paul, one of its biggest stars, after his controversies included videos he made showing his visit to so-called suicide forest in Japan and jokes about eating Tide detergent pods, as well as, tasering rats and trying to give CPR to a fish that was dead. Logan Paul's an idiot. Another star, Felix Schellberg, known as PewDiePie, I always mess up his name, was found to have used a racial epithet and made anti-Semitic jokes in some of his gaming videos. He was dropped from Google's lucrative ad service for high-performing videos, and his planned series at the paid subscription channel was canceled. But again, there's context there. The context for using the racial epithet came later, which is dumb, let's be fair. But everything else was taken out of context, packaged in a 2-minute video by the Wall Street Journal in an attempt to completely discredit the top star on YouTube and therefore make themselves still feel somewhat relative. Never mind the fact that one of the writers of that freaking Wall Street Journal article that went after him for anti-Semitic jokes was caught on Twitter making very similar anti-Semitic jokes. But the rules for thee are not for me, sort of thing, right? Hypocrisy run amok with the attempt to take down YouTube, which is what led on, one of the things that brought on the apocalypse last year. One of the things that brought on the apocalypse. Now, YouTube is taking steps to make it harder for even creators at the bottom. The company recently said that channels need to have reached 1,000 subscribers or 4,000 hours of watch time before they can earn money from ads. YouTube said the change is aimed at discouraging videos with objectionable or offensive content and that it would affect a significant number of channels. Well, the thing is, too, they're also wanting to make sure that that you are, I guess, dedicated to it, so to speak, and that you're not ripping off other content. There's a lot of factors that go into it. Ultimately, it sucks. I do feel like the 10,000 views was a lot better. Then it goes through a vetting process. I don't like this fourth. I don't like the 1,000 subscribers. The 4,000 hours kind of makes sense a little bit, but I don't like the 1,000 subscribers. Your first 1,000 subs are hard. You know what I mean? They're hard, and that's just, I think that's a discouraging factor. Now, YouTube said the change is aimed at, okay, anyway. So Bartle's study did offer up some hope for YouTube aspirants, hints on how to boost the chances of financial success. YouTube offers 18 genre-like categories, and selecting the right one is highly significant predictor of channel success. The most popular categories over the decade were entertainment videos, which took in 24% of all views, followed by music and gaming categories. Well, damn it, I am in the news category. Great. Now, all of a sudden, all my videos are going to be marked for entertainment because I am an entertaining person. All this, entertaining. Now, the chance of a channel making it into the rarefied top 3% was best for comedy, entertainment, how-to style, and gaming, and worse for sports, education, nonprofit, activist groups, people, and blogs. Bartle also noted that YouTube's upper echelon still featured a mix of both professional and user-generated videos, writing that I hope it does give hope to YouTube's broadcast yourself rhetoric is not complete fiction. But sitting there and trying to say that no one's making a living is crap. I know a lot of people that have been able to make a living. I know a lot of people that have not been able to make a living. It's not an easy game. All right. You are fighting for every view you get. You have to be aware of the situation, aware of what's changing, and know how to play the game. And there are people out there that are always going to have the better than you. And there's people out there that are always going to have it worse than you when it comes to both views and content. You might look at someone and go, how the hell did they get that many views and subscribers? They suck. And here's the thing. I've said it too. And the people who look at me, trust me, I get tweets about this all the time. Like, how does he have that many views and subs? He sucks. And I'm like, well, no, it's part of it. It's part of it. But the key here is, for one, be smart. All right. 10 minutes or bust is what they really want. Know how to play the game. Know how the algorithm works. Be entertaining. Be yourself. Talk about what you want. Not everything is going to do as well as other things. If you want to be like a person who discusses philosophy, you're going to be in a niche market. The likelihood of getting, you can get there to that top 3%. It will take some time because you have to formulate it in a way that works. Having people that help you along the way is another good way to go about it as well. But to sit here and say that why almost no one is making a living, I want to say is crap, right? I got 160,000 subs. According to Social Blade, I'm in like the top 50,000 channels. Okay. Over the course of the past 2 years, I went from 23,000 on the list of channels to 50. It goes to show you how many channels have grown and surpassed me in subscriber count. And I'm sure a lot of them have played correctly are able to turn it into a living. It's not just advertising anymore. It's also Patreon and Maker Studio and merchandise and other things as well that people can use as a way to get it to keep afloat. These kind of articles are designed, in my opinion, to simply just to keep people away, to keep you grounded, and to not go after your dreams of doing this. Not everyone is going to be a Logan Paul. I'll never be a Logan Paul. I'll probably never be an amazing atheist in terms of subscriber count. Okay. Whatever. It is fine with me. I love what I do. I love my career. I love everyone who watches these videos. You guys are awesome, and I appreciate that. You allow me to live my dream, and I want to help you guys live your dream too if this is what you want. But these kind of articles are nonsense. Why I wanted to talk about it. It's lame. All it does is sit there and be like, well, you can't do it because it's such competition. Man, we are bred on competition. Our entire lives are competition. Not everyone can go to YouTube and get a freaking trophy for showing up. This ain't grade school, son. No matter how much they want it, the social justice warriors want that crap. The regressives want that crap. It's not how the system works. You want to play it, you got to play the game right. You got to play the game tough. You got to play the game diligently. And if you falter, if you walk away at any point in time, then you lose. But if you keep at it, it may take you a couple years, but you can get there. It took me 3 years to go full time. 3 years. I know people that have done it in 1 and they've done it in 4 or 5. It took me 3. And I'm currently about ready to hit my 3rd year of this being my job. And I don't plan on doing anything else with my life. I love what I do. And if you want this, you can have it. And don't let anyone tell you different. All right. All right, let me go ahead and get Jeff the link here. All right. Hold on one sec. We're going to close that out. Oh, oops. Damn it. Okay.
Yay.
What? Hey, what's up, man? Let me just turn on my camera here.
Oh, sweet. Fancy. Looking fly as usual, my friend. How you doing?
I do what I can. I do what I can.
I'm working with what I got here. Working with what I got. No big deal.
How'd the Saints go tonight?
Oh fuck, man, it was a nightmare. It was an absolute fucking nightmare. We had Nitpicks was supposed to be the guest, which I don't know if you're familiar with Nitpicks, but they are they're a movie channel. They're really smart. What they do is absolutely incredible. But the main problem that we had was they're a British channel. And what's happened multiple times before is like British people, because we do our show so late, it ends up being like 3 a.m. in the morning for them. And I think they fell asleep, so they didn't show up.
I just realized I left my headphones in the other room. Give me like 30 seconds to go grab them. Just fucking talk to the audience for a hot second.
I'm just gonna what's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Mundane Matt channel. Actually, we're on we're on Monday Matt right now. Welcome to Rustl'd. I am your host, Jeff Holiday. I am about a bottle and a half of wine in, feeling pretty fly in my Gorilla Harambe, peace be unto him onesie. I hope everybody out there is feeling good. I'm feeling great. My God, fuck me dead. What a hell of a crazy night. But yeah, we did the Saints night. It was fun. It was a lot of fun, but you know, the guests didn't show up, so we ended up having to just kind of like wing it. Instead, we just had a couple of friends from the Discord come in, hang out with us, that sort of thing. We had a pretty good time. I tried to expose as many people to Bradley Crienzo as I possibly could. If anybody out there is a Tommy Wiseau fan or a Neil Breen fan, Bradley Crienzo is he's the next level. Past Wiseau, past Neil Breen, Bradley Crienzo is exactly where it's at. That's where you got to go. I'm telling you, man. He's a fucking living genius.
Okay, there we go. I totally spaced. I was playing my Switch in the other room and I had my headphones in there. I'm like, oh yeah, fuck headphones. God damn it.
It's fair. It's fair, man. I'm red pilling your audience on Bradley Crienzo.
I don't know who the hell that is, so that's good. Red pill.
You don't? Okay. You do. Okay. So you know Tommy Wiseau.
Oh yeah.
Right. The Room. And then are you familiar with Neil Breen?
The name sounds. Isn't he the bad guy from Ghostbusters?
No. Yeah, he made these videos that Adam from Your Movie Sucks has done like exposés on them, and like PewDiePie has even talked about Neil Breen. He's like the next Tommy Wiseau. Okay. I've got the guy after Neil Breen. His name is Bradley Crienzo, and he's absolutely amazing. It's Creanzo. This dude is a fucking genius. An absolute genius of how mind-fuckingly terrible his short films are. They're amazing. Nice. Yeah.
I like watching shitty movies.
Mm-hmm. Me too, man.
I will say, though, The Room is a shitty movie, but it's also one that's near and dear to my heart.
Me too. You know the thing that always happens to me when I watch The Room is, like, I know it's a bad movie. It's supposed to be an objectively bad movie, but I get really emotionally invested every single goddamn time that I watch The Room. Because, if you take The Room as a narrative with just ignoring how bad it is, but you actually take it as like a narrative story. The character of Johnny is such a nice fucking guy. So watching the betrayal of Mark fucking his girlfriend actually is emotionally enraging. I get emotionally invested every time I watch The Room. I get mad.
No, I don't blame you, man. I don't blame you. Like the first time I saw it, I was this was in I can't remember if it was 2009 2010, but I saw it in Los Angeles at the Sunset 5 Saturday night midnight. Tommy introduced the movie. And I was hammered. I was shit faced drunk, and we brought spoons. And we did the whole goddamn thing. And I walked out of that movie and just like I was like, man, that was awesome. I had so much fun. It was so bad, but I had so much fun with it. And then like I've watched it since then, like on home video, and like it's not the same. But it's not. Still, I can still go back to that moment and enjoy my theatrical experience with it, and still find myself going like, it's not a bad. Like the more you watch it, the more I look at it as a labor of love.
Oh yeah,
and
it's
I
a passion
think
project.
Yeah, and I think because like I worked in LA not long after that, you know, and like I understand like a lot of the struggle that goes into it. That I can look at those kind of movies with like a lot more like warmth and love, and I'm like, I just want to like meet Tommy and give him a hug, you know, like he did. Because the thing is, I do feel that Tommy kind of got fucked over tonight, to be honest with you. And so the whole Oscars happened, and then James Franco with the accusations made against him, which were pretty dumb.
Yeah, they were completely bullshit.
They were, you know, but that ended up happening while the Academy was voting, and as a result of that, they ended up really just, you know, like he didn't even get a nomination. I think they got the best adapted screenplay or something nomination.
Right. Yeah.
And it went to a movie. It went to a movie about a gay guy in Italy having an affair with a 14-year-old or like a 17-year-old boy or something in Italy in the 70s or something. Right? Like that was Call Me by Your Name. Never mind the fact that Logan was up for best adapted screenplay. And like that didn't fucking win. I'm a little bit mad about that. A little bit mad.
Yeah, no, that's something to be enraged by. I guess so your audio output apparently is supposedly pretty low.
Whoa, yeah. Oh yeah, that was really low. Okay.
Yeah.
There we go. I was looking at the I was looking at the wrong thing. I always kind of fuck this up.
Yeah, no, I mean the Windows like automatically adjusts your audio levels depending on like what you're doing, especially if you're like putting through OBS. But yeah, no, that was so strange too. Like everybody expected that Logan would at least get some kind of an Oscar nod because it was probably one of the closest examples we had of like fine art coming out of a superhero movie. And did they get even a nomination?
It didn't even get Patrick Stewart didn't even get Best Supporting.
What the fuck?
And that is the fucking shame. That is a fucking shame. You know, like
that's
like
fucking dog shit.
It's that the thing is like the Academy. I thought, and I ranted about this at the beginning of the episode tonight. Was like the Academy now is all about victim bucks over marketing bucks.
Oh,
and yeah. Fox chose to push War for the Planet of the Apes over Logan. And that was what they pushed. That was what they pushed for Best Picture and stuff. Warner's is pushing like Wonder Woman. You know.
I mean, Wonder Woman was objectively a good movie. It was really good. I liked it. But I mean, I don't know. Logan was such a great fucking film. It should have at least gotten a nod. The idea that like this dog shit going on with James Franco can strip away the ability for them to even consider the disaster artist for an Oscar is dog shit. Yeah. Total dog shit. Because that was a great fucking movie.
I really liked it. Yeah. The Blu-ray has now found its way online. I'm gonna buy it though when it comes out because I like to buy things like that. So,
you know what's crazy? I'm looking it up right now. Patrick Stewart has never even been nominated for an Oscar. Do you know that?
Well, to be fair, what's he been in that he would have been nominated for? I mean, we all know him as Jean-Luc Picard, and you know, as well as Professor X, but ultimately he hasn't done a lot. He doesn't do a lot of like a lot of indie stuff. Like if he would have gone and done like indie films, or like, that kind of studio indie film, he might have had a better shot.
Look,
But
I'm gonna put it like this, honestly. Patrick Stewart deserves an Oscar just because he's Patrick Stewart.
yeah.
I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck. Honestly.
No, I agree.
He's a fucking incredible actor. Absolutely incredible actor. There's no reason why he shouldn't have at least just because it's Patrick fucking Stewart. Like, what the fuck? Come on.
Well, it's like it's kind of like Gary Oldman won tonight for best actor, and it's like, did he win? Because sometimes the Academy will give you an award for like something else,
right?
So you have to go, oh, did he win for Darkest Hour, or did he win for like The Professional or Fifth Element?
Right.
Like, so it always really makes you question. The downside to it is that the Academy, like, I just stopped caring for almost 2 decades now. Yeah. And I used to be the guy that would like, do the online challenge in the 90s, like try to pick what I would think was going to win. And then I'd watch the whole thing. And yeah, once South Park lost, I just stopped caring.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, so this is also an interesting one too. I just looked it up because Gary Oldman did win for best performance by an actor tonight. But the thing is, we also know that Gary Oldman is an incredible actor, and he's been an incredible actor for years and years and years. So fuck, dude. I can't even. I don't even want to get into how many amazing roles he's had. That was his first Oscar win. His very first Oscar win. That's insane to me.
It's just the way the Academy works. It's people get nominated. Like, look at Roger Deakins. He'd been nominated 14 times for best cinematographer, and he just won for Blade Runner. So, I mean, sometimes they take the time to get there. I will say though, I'm glad Get Out didn't win Best Picture or Best Director.
Agreed.
Best original screenplay is kind of a gimme, but because the movie was good, but it was like a take on, it's just Stepford Wives with a racial slant.
Yep.
And
that's exactly what it was. That's exactly what I was thinking.
It was good. I mean, it was good, but it was like, I got done watching it, I'm like, eh. Whereas like The Shape of Water I saw, and I was like, oh man, like I really like The Shape of Water.
Yeah.
So, but I mean, at the same time, the Oscars, they're never going to put like a superhero movie in place. They're never going to give it, they're never going to give it to that because it's just not what they're after.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know. Like, I don't think necessarily the most superhero movies are worthy of like Academy Award consideration. I honestly do think that the Oscars and the Academy is kind of a pretentious cock-sucking circle jerk for the most part. But there is something prestigious about it because it is the highest award for the movie industry. I don't think that most superhero movies really should even be necessarily considered, aside from one of those rare holdouts like Logan. Logan was a fucking amazing movie. But it was weird because I usually do keep my fingers on the pulse of movies throughout the year, and I watch even like the indie stuff and whatnot. For the Best Picture nominations, the only ones I was even familiar with was A Shape of Water, Dunkirk, and Get Out. That was it. I didn't watch any of the other ones. I mean, I will now that I know their names. I'll go and I'll probably enjoy them a lot. I'll probably think they were great movies. But out of all of those, A Shape of Water was such a fucking good film, and I honestly am really glad that they won.
Yeah, it's better than the nonsense from last year. I didn't see La La Land or Moonlight. I didn't really care.
I hate musicals.
Well, it's not. I actually have no problem with musicals, but it was kind of like this. La La Land was this like glitzy, kind of like faux glamorous take on LA life, and I understand why they did it like that. But it's like after having lived it, I'm just like, no, fuck you. Like, fuck you. Like, don't shy away from the fucking heart. That's why I like Disaster Artist so goddamn much. Like, it didn't shy away from it. It was like, you're a horrible actor. Like, you can't do it. Everyone telling you can't do it.
Yeah.
And he's like, fuck it, I'm gonna go make this movie. Where's the money come from? I'm never telling you. But like, I think there's some good shit there. And there's gonna be, I think next year should be interesting because I don't know if you know this. And we'll switch gears after this too. But I mentioned this earlier. The Academy, after the whole Oscars so white controversy, they expanded out their members,
Mhm.
and they brought in more people. And so that's going to, really diversify the voting pool. And while that's good, I think that's better overall. I was really worried to see whether or not the winners were going to be reflections of the Me Too movement, but it looks like just the politics of the show was that.
Yeah, no, I think I'm with you on that too. That was something that I was kind of worried about as well. Um, was we would see voting based on voting based on diversity. Like that would be one of the most like quintessential things. So,
Yeah.
like the winner was going to be Moonlight or oh shit, did I say Moonlight? Get Out, and it didn't necessarily end up being that way. The show obviously was. I tuned in for like 15 minutes and I wanted to kill myself. It was fucking disgusting. It was just
I don't have cable television.
awful.
So if they weren't streaming it on YouTube or Hulu or something.
I have a digital antenna.
Oh, yeah, no, I got one of those. I just haven't hooked it up.
Yeah, no, they work really fucking great. But yeah, I watched a little bit through that, and it was awful. It was totally terrible. But they didn't seem to necessarily do that. But I will say,
here's my question to you, though.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be accused of sexual assault tomorrow? Because it's going to be how much you want to bet Sam Rockwell is going to get hit with. There's going to actually I guarantee you're going to see a lot of articles complaining about Sam Rockwell.
Oh man!
And the reason why was because did you see 3 Billboards Outside Ebbing, Missouri?
No, I didn't see it.
Super good movie, right? Yeah. Super good movie. Even if like the ending is just kind of like what the fuck, the rest of the movie is like super good. And he won Best Supporting. And the thing is, his character is like super racist and super homophobic, and so he won for this character that's like this. And then the backlash online was, well, he never once mentioned race in his acceptance speech.
Right.
And it's like, well, then who fuck cares? Like, he's playing a part. He's playing a role. He doesn't need to like give a shit. It wasn't his words he wrote. He wasn't this character. He was just only playing them.
Man, I don't know. I really hope Sam Rockwell doesn't get a fucking Me Too treatment because I do legitimately like Sam Rockwell. I think
he would have gotten one already, but you never know. You never know. I mean, Gary Oldman could get one tomorrow.
Right? Oh no, please don't jinx it. I love Gary Oldman. There
were against Gary Oldman.
Were there? What?
Yeah. There was something I read. There's something I read a while ago. Oh no, it wasn't sexual assault. It was domestic abuse. Domestic violence. Allegations. Yeah, because the Vox ran an article 2 days ago. And they said, oh, Gary Oldman's like, no, Oscars 2018 Best Actor Gary Oldman's domestic violence allegations. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
Leave it to Vox. You know what I mean?
I will say one thing, like Sam Rockwell, as much as I love Sam Rockwell and he's a fucking great actor, I still have not forgiven him for Choke.
I haven't seen it.
Don't watch it.
Wait, isn't that the Chuck Palahniuk one?
Yes,
okay.
That is a movie based on Chuck Palahniuk. So for those who don't know, Chuck Palahniuk is the writer behind Fight Club. He had one other of his books turned into a movie, and that was Choke, which was one of my favorite books of all fucking time. Incredible book. The movie that they made out of that with Sam Rockwell is one of the biggest flaming piles of shit I've ever seen in my life. Fuck me dead. That was the worst adaptation of a book. Fuck.
I never ended up seeing it. It was just, it never made it to my desk.
Read the book. Never watch that movie. It is fucking garbage. Just trash.
I won't. I don't think I'll probably be checking it out then. But all right. So I kind of want to switch gears. We talk about this. I can talk movies all fucking night. You know this.
I know, man. I know.
And because every time we hang out, it ends up popping up anyway. So what I want to do is, because I don't really bring a lot of people on this show, but I've been on your show a couple times, so I figured you'd be a good person to bring onto my show. And one thing I want to do is, because I you know how much I love YouTube and how much I love the platform.
Sure.
I want to like kind of ask you kind of how you got into it, like, you know, because we're seeing all these. I don't know if you saw the last story that I covered was about there's this new thing now. It's saying, oh, you can't make money at YouTube. You can't do this as a job. And I've seen multiple articles pop up in the last couple of days that have basically espoused the same narrative, that this new study came out of Germany that's all like, oh, you need to get like 1 million views a month in order to be profitable. I'm like, it helps, but it's not like, you're going to make more than 16,000 a year if
Right.
you make more than 1 million views a month. So, and I was just talking about that, and I feel like at this point, feels like a big pushback against encouraging people to jump on the platform. So, how is it? How did you get involved?
Okay, so the way in which I got involved into YouTube is actually kind of bizarre. A lot of it stemmed from getting into pseudoscience fights on Facebook. I was very, very heavily into the pro GMO crowd because in Eugene, I was friends with all these hippies and whatnot, but I've always been a very science minded kind of guy. And they got into this trope that they were hating on GMOs. And I was actually very well read on genetic modification and like food and that sort of thing. So I would counter these things. I get into these conversations, I get into these big knockdown, drag out shit fights about GMOs. I got so fucking tired of having the same goddamn conversation over and over again. I decided that fuck it, I would just make a video about it. And that when I had to bring this up again, I would just send people the link. Like, there you go. There's my fucking response. We're done. That's it. I don't have to fucking type it out anymore. That's how I got involved in it. And for a long time, it was just simply a hobby. Now, when I started finding success on YouTube was way before the adpocalypse. And I actually, once you crack that first $100 and they actually send you that paycheck, it's like, wow.
Yeah.
Wait a minute.
My first one was like $374, I think.
Isn't it? It was an incredible feeling. Incredible feeling.
I was really, really. I was like, oh my god, I can pay for rent.
Yeah. Well, I went out and got myself a nice big old fucking bottle of expensive ass whiskey, and I had a great fucking night. It wasn't a lot of money. I was working a regular job, doing my regular thing. But before the adpocalypse, and you know this just as much as any other YouTuber knows this, before the adpocalypse, it was way easier to make a living on YouTube. Way fucking easier.
I would say 2016 was like the good year. You know, it was the year like there, I was helping my mom out financially with something, and I go to, I'm like, how much do you need? And she's like, she gave me X amount. Like, it's not like a small, but not like a huge amount or whatever. And she's like, is that okay? Is that okay? And this is like right at like December of 2016. And I just kind of looked at her and I'm all like, I make more than that in a day, and she's like, what? And I'm like, it's fucking insane. Like how good things were in 2016.
It's pretty insane, honestly. Like what's so strange to me too, is like so I started making a really good living, and I only had like 15,000 subscribers, and I was making over $1,000 a month just on ad revenue. It was wild. Didn't have a Patreon, didn't need a Patreon, anything like that. What it comes down to right now, though, is making a living off of YouTube is almost entirely dependent on Patreon until you reach a certain type of plateau level. And I'd say that's probably in like the 500,000 range, where you really don't need Patreon at all. Like at all.
Well, when I started Patreon, I started mine in like September 2013 when they first announced it.
Yeah.
And I've always looked at I'm like, I never know what the fuck to give. I just talk about shit. I still, even 4 years later, I'm like, I don't even know what the fuck to give. And I've talked to people that are like, yeah, people just kind of want to teach them, like, treat them like a tip thing and everything else. But it's like, Patreon's a really good one. But now with all that nonsense, there's also like maker support or Hatreon if you want to go that route. So you can really, appeal to your audience, provided that you, I guess, provide the value, and it's whatever value you really kind of assign to it. Sure. Like you'll take hats. You'll write like shitlord on hats and mail it to people, right?
Yeah. So like mine's really simple. Like a dollar doesn't mean really anything. $5 and higher, we do hangouts and we get to just like shoot the shit and whatnot. And then like $20, I make a hat and I have a bunch of stickers and I mail them out to people. $50, and then we We have like a one-on-one sort of thing. And my Patreon is actually extremely successful. Like
no, it is like like I looked at yours and I'm all like, God damn it.
A lot of it too, I think one of the main reasons why mine is so successful is because as niche as what I do is, because I pulled away from like fighting identity politics. I don't really get into politics anymore at all. I just do simply like pseudoscience things. The people who are really passionate about that are passionate enough that they appreciate it to a part that they want to contribute monetarily to make sure that I keep doing it. Which is why, like, no matter how much, you know, internet dramas and shit fights and blood sports and that sort of thing might impact negatively on my channel, I'm never going to stop. I'm never going to stop what I'm doing, because like I am independently funded, the type of content that I make. So it doesn't matter to me.
And that's the thing too, is I think what people need to realize is when you've got like let's say a large amount of drama that's been brought to your doorstep, whether you did something or you didn't do something, right?
Sure.
The thing is, a lot of people try to look at that as like, you know, oh, your channel's dead, you're dying, you're out, you're done. And it doesn't work that way. We're not Hollywood, you know what I mean? Like we're not Hollywood. It's not gonna be the same as that way. You know, you could have people make video after video after video, and after a while you're gonna plateau what you've lost, right?
Oh, sure.
And then at that point you're just gonna start bringing in different people, and that's a big part of it, is not to be discouraged, I would say, by that particular thing, but you know, but it really, you know, getting that extra funding through either merchandise or Patreon is kind of a valid thing. I mean, I would say, I don't know how true this is. This is just what I've kind of witnessed, but look at like Chris Ray Gun, for example. Dude puts out what, 1-2 videos a month?
Yeah.
You know, but his videos pulling a couple 100,000 views, but like, you know, like he's still able to live and operate in Los Angeles without a problem.
Mm-hmm.
And, but he's putting out merch all the time. New merch. And that merch is keeping him afloat. And honestly, good for Chris.
Yeah, no, oh, absolutely good for Chris. I got a chance to, you know, when I was hanging out with him and Lacey down in San Diego, and we didn't really talk about YouTube that much, but he's got such a positive attitude on how he does it. He approaches it like he basically approaches it as this is this is basically like how he wants to like express himself as an art form first and foremost, which is why he takes so much effort into every single video that he does, and it reflects in the actual product, and people fucking love it. They absolutely fucking love it, so much so that I would estimate that he probably makes the majority of his money off of his merch sales, because people see that Chris Ray Gun product and they want to fucking wear. I bought a fucking Chris Ray Gun t-shirt. I have it in my room right now. Am I wearing it right now? No, I'm wearing a Poisoning the Well t-shirt actually.
Ah, good old Fat Pat and Sophie. Love those motherfuckers. Yeah.
But I you know, and it's just another way to market yourself, you know, and that's really the key to it. Is if you want to make YouTube work as a platform, you have to find a way that it's actually going to work for you. Whether that's actually going to be trying to make your money off of views, which is really hard after the apocalypse, whether it's you're tapping into a niche market where people want to support what you're doing through Patreon, like they do with me, or whether people just want to rep that fucking merch of something that's a really good fucking product, like Chris does. It's just whatever avenue really works for you.
Yeah. No, and that's the thing is I think a lot of people out there kind of get caught in the minutia of it all. They get caught up in the idea that this is something I can't do because it feels like it's such a far off process. But trust me, once you dive into it, like a year will go by and you'll be like, how the fuck did a year go by? What the hell's going on?
I know.
It kind of every day just kind of blends together, which is one of the reasons why I'm so looking forward to like the VidCon and even Kilroy for that fact, because like it's just going to be, let's get fucking hammered.
Oh, dude, I am so fucking looking forward to Kilroy. I'm not even fucking like it's become a meme at this point that people just want to hate on Kilroy and whatnot. But I tell you what, man, Like I can't divulge what I got in the mail today, what I got in my email box, because they haven't made it public yet. They only sent it to us, the participants. But like, holy hot fucking damn, man, that is gonna be a posh fucking event.
I have
You're gonna
not
have
gotten
a lot of
anything
fun.
yet. I haven't gotten anything.
They didn't send you that email?
No, they were no. I will have to. I will have to
You
reach
better go
out.
yell at some people. Yeah,
I better be like, so what's going on? I'm hearing there's some cool. Well, they want me to come on. Like they were trying to get me to come on a call on Sundays to talk, to kind of get up to date on where things are. I haven't reached out and discussed with where things are right now. And,
oh, okay.
And I need to do that too. I feel like I'm falling behind on my duties on that one. But you know, the thing is, a lot of people out there, you know, like I think the key thing to remember here is, you can, when it comes to, let's say, like drama on YouTube, drama is very, very fucking easy to get involved with on the platform. The big thing to remember is that it cannot wholly control your channel, because it won't last.
Sure.
And I think that's a big, big thing. Because I know, like, because I know, like, I will find myself, I don't know if you do this, like, I will find myself, like, wanting to jump in on a topic, right? You know, I'm like, oh, what'd this fucking person do? And then like, ooh, I could, you know, it's an easy video to make. And then I'm like, I just don't want to do it.
Yeah.
Because sometimes it's not worth it. It's not worth it, you know, to when you get to a certain point when and it no longer becomes worth it, I should say. When you're starting off, like, fuck it, who cares, really? Because, you know, you're just trying to get that attention at that point. Like, you remember Wild Spartans from VidCon?
Oh yeah.
Like, dude, I like Wild Spartans. A good kid.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
Have you seen his channel growth?
I haven't paid attention. No.
Ah, fuck, dude, you want to go kill yourself? I'm just saying, it's like what he did. He discovered a tactic, and he starts talking about like Lele Pons and Rice Gum and Logan Paul and PewDiePie, and he goes after the big people. Yeah. And he was trying to get like 100,000 subs by like the end of last year, and he was like, I think like 20,000 away or some shit, and he got there, and now he's like over 160. He surpassed me.
No shit.
And
wow.
just the last couple months, I'm not kidding you, he's gone up like 80,000 subs.
Good for him, dude.
He hit a niche. He got better. He stopped. He started scripting his videos a little bit more.
Yeah.
Because that was a big call out. He would like stretch it to 10 minutes.
Yeah.
And you know, he would. I mean, like if you watched old Wild Spartan videos, you could see like he would just repeat the same line like 4 or 5 times, and I'm like, God damn it, get to the fucking point. And I'm a rambler, and I understand that. But no, he's been able to hit it and hit it and hit it and hit it and consistently grow with that shit. By being critical of larger channels. He just went after Onision again, I think like yesterday. But even that's like, the thing is, going after Onision is like beating a dead horse and then raping it repeatedly.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
But it you know what though? Like, people still want to watch.
Yeah. No, they want to watch. They want to watch fucking butt fucked as much as they possibly can. They really do. They really do. Because you know, Onision is like a sacrificial lamb of YouTube at this point. So.
Yeah. But the thing is, he knows it. And that's the other thing too. Is a lot of people, you got to remember that when you go after somebody, like, they are a person, and a lot of times they are playing an angle. They're playing that a particular angle in character, and so like if you are, you know, if you go after that character, it just roll off their back because they know that's not them. But I have never been able to peg Onision as any kind of specific character. Like, I don't know if he's a human. That's the thing. I don't know if he's human. I can't find his humanity at all.
Yeah, humanity and Onision doesn't really go together too terribly much. Yeah, the thing is, what keeps driving me crazy is like I'm friends with Billy the Fridge, you know. We've hung out with him several times. But he's really good friends with Onision. He keeps trying to tell me that he's just such a good guy in real life. Yeah, but I don't think any of us have ever met that dude. I don't think so.
You know, maybe Billy has, but given Onision's like tendency to really criticize overweight people, I don't know if he would ever, like, I don't know if that ever would be a thing. Because like when I was up at the DP 24-hour stream, I got an email from a guy like the next day who was really upset at how Billy the Fridge was treating me.
Really?
Yeah. I was surprised. I like, okay, you know, like he was just like, he's like, I saw you on there. I really love your stuff. I love Drunken Peasants. And like he's like, I was really turned off by the way Billy was being mean to you, and I know you were laughing it off, but like he's like, I don't think he's like, I'm not happy about that. And I'm like, Billy kind of looks for a target though. Like that's the thing, is Billy's looking for someone to bounce off of him. You know, like he wants to put that Trump dildo in someone's face and be like, you know, you want to suck on this, and laugh about that shit. Like that's what Billy does. So, the thing is, like, I just won't play into that with him. So he'll look at me and he'll try that shit, and I'll go ha ha, and then he'll move on to someone else. I'm like, yeah, like that's that's the whole thing. Plus that entire experience, and you were coming in through live, through the live stream. You get it. It was 8 people in the fucking room.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
It was a goddamn mess.
I ended up having to apologize a little bit to those girls I was really mean to on the stream. I did. Fuck, man. I apologize. Whatever. It's fine.
Well, oh yeah, no, they were. I think they were uncomfortable. They seemed pretty chill. They seem pretty chill.
Fucked those girls so bad.
Yeah. Okay. For those of you who don't know, Jeff was like going like, I'll pay Pimp Monk like $40 to fart in the general direction.
Oh yeah, I wanted Pimp Monk to fucking VX gas attack those girls, and then I was trying to convince other people to let them spit in their mouths. You know?
Yeah, you.
I would have paid if somebody did it, but I wasn't actually being necessarily serious. But when I saw the look on those girls' faces, I was like, yeah, I think I'm serious now.
Yeah, it got weird because they're all sitting on the other side of the room, so I couldn't see them like over the monitors. So I'm just like watching their reaction, like the little camera on the screen, and I was like, this is getting kind of fucking weird. Everyone was high as shit. I walked out of there and I was fucking high, and I didn't even smoke anything. Like I was, like I had a total contact high from being in that room.
Yeah.
Well, okay, so I guess so. Like, you've been at this now for how many years have you been at your channel now?
3 years.
3 years. Okay. Yeah. And how long has it been your full-time thing?
Say about 1.5 years, something like that. Yeah.
So you hit it faster than me. It took me 3 years to go full-time.
Yeah, I mean, mine did actually happen rather quickly. Rather quickly.
Well, because you were everywhere too. Like you were everywhere.
Yeah,
like you've actually done a This Week in Stupid. I've known Sargon for like almost 4 years now. I've never been asked to do a This Week in Stupid.
He didn't ask me. I was talking to him, and he was like at a convention or something like that, and he mentioned that he just did not have the fucking time to do it. That he might actually have to skip a week for the first time in a long ass time. So I just sent him a message on Facebook to his private account. I was like, "Fuck, dude, if you need somebody to do This Week in Stupid, I'll do it right now. I don't give a fuck."
I'm gonna hound his ass on that shit then. Yeah. Like, all right, man, you want somebody to do this? You've asked everyone else but me.
I didn't get shit for channel growth doing that though. I tell you what.
It's that's the thing too, is like, what I think people need to realize is like when you go and you work on, like I did one guest video for like TJ.
Okay.
A while back. A couple years ago, and there was I don't think I had like really any channel growth off of that, and okay. Like this the thing is, like when you do guest videos or somebody else, you're not always going to get a lot of that growth. It doesn't always happen. Sometimes it does. Sometimes you're able to get there, but really it's not so much doing the guest videos as it is just coming on and talking to them.
Yeah. No, I would agree. I mostly just did it because Carl's my buddy, and like we made such immediately fast fucking friends when we met at VidCon. So yeah.
It was really odd for me to meet him at VidCon.
Wasn't it weird? It was super weird.
Well, because I've known him since like the early days of Gamergate.
But then okay. But the thing is though, and maybe this is just me. Maybe you felt the same way. I met Sargon. Right. And he was instantly the warmest, nicest, just completely welcoming, chillest fucking dude I'd ever fucking met. He was so fucking nice. It was great to meet him. He was a legitimately warm person.
Yeah, it was kind of weird because, well, like, I think what it is for me with him, there was we've had this bit of a divide, like not like a divide, like a separation. Okay. Like we each kind of went our own way. So like when Gamergate was a thing, we were always talking pretty frequently on each other's streams pretty frequently, And then it's like he kind of went his way and I kind of went my way, and it just kind of separated a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
And when that really happened, though, I noticed was when he surpassed me in subscribers, because that was around like February 2015, because we were talking and I had like 40 some thousand subs and he was still at like 35 or something.
Right.
And he shot past me like, a week later or some shit. And, like that was like, we were talking like with Shu, I think around the same time. And then it was kind of like, everyone kind of went one way and I kind of went my own way. And as a result of that, I guess you know how it is. If you're not necessarily always kind of talking about the same thing, you all kind of, differentiate and jump around and shit.
Mm-hmm.
And so when I met him, I was a little bit like, I was excited. He's like, oh man, I kind of talked him into going. I don't think people know this. Like I talked him into going, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't get any credit for fucking VidCon, but like I think I did my part. I think because what it was is I had somehow got on the stream with Sargon, and we were talking about VidCon, and I'm all like, like Anna Kasparian's gonna be there, and he's like, no, and I'm like, yeah, dude, and Anita's on a panel, and he's like, no, and I'm like, you gotta come. He's like, all right, I gotta go.
Yeah.
Just like that, I talked him into traveling halfway around the fucking world.
Yeah, there was quite a few people that like once it got in everybody's heads that this was a thing that we should absolutely do. I talked Andy Worski into going to VidCon.
Yeah, I was once word got out of who was going and who was going to be there, and then everyone else just kind of jumped on. And I mean, and there's nothing wrong with that. Like I think it was kind of meant to happen. This year, I'm not too sure how things are going to go, to be honest with you. But I think we're going to have fun.
I'm going to love it, dude.
I mean, like, I'm looking forward to seeing some Black Guy and Chris again. And then, of course, you, and I think Nick's going to be coming out.
Oh, Nick could be coming out, yeah.
And then
most of the same people are going to be coming out, for sure. It's going to be fun.
Well, yeah, I mean, not everyone. We've learned that some people aren't going to be attending, and that's okay.
That's true. That's
okay.
That's fine. Wow.
And then I think that's kind of going to be like our kind of go-to. But now everyone's going to fucking MythCon too, right?
Yeah, I want to go.
Like I'm looking at here's the thing, I'll let you know what I find, because I want to go too. I'm actually going to be on their podcast in a couple weeks.
Okay.
And so, because I made a joke to somebody, and I'm all like, I feel like I'm the only shitlord that's like not going to be on a panel. And then like later on that day, I get an email saying like, hey, do you want to come on our podcast?
Yep.
I'm all like, yeah, no, totally. And I mean, going out to Milwaukee of all places has never been. I'll go to Wisconsin. Fuck it, why not? It's gonna be fun. And I think that's part, because remember I pitched that idea last year of like us kind of jumping in a van and then like touring the country.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people still really want to see that shit. I think a lot of people still really want to go and enjoy, meeting everyone. I mean, look, the thing is, there's been a fair amount of drama on everyone's side, and it's never a perfect scenario, but a lot of it, I really think, boils down to the fact that, like, drama aside, we still have a lot of fans that overlap.
Mm-hmm.
And I think if, coming together for them is generally the best course of action.
I would agree. I mean, the thing though is, like, when I go to VidCon, the first and foremost one for me was to want to like meet some of the people that I've been friends with online for a long time, get a chance to like meet them in real life. We had an incredible experience doing that. But one thing that actually really did bother me was I didn't really get a chance to hang out with the fans as much as I wanted to, like the people that I'd known who were not necessarily YouTubers, but that I had made relationships with, even though they're not content creators. So I had to make the executive decision. I had to make the decision for myself the last night of VidCon to specifically forego, like, I wasn't in part of the Shut Up Tariq meme storm, because that night I couldn't bring some of these guys that I had known for a long time, even though they weren't YouTubers. I couldn't bring them to that party because they weren't YouTubers. So I made the decision that instead I grabbed them and I took them to a strip club in Anaheim
Which
instead.
basically means, just for everyone watching, if you are ever with Jeff Holiday somewhere and he disappears and you don't know where he's at and you're trying to find him, check your local strip club.
Yeah, that's where I'm gonna be. That's where I grab somebody who has never been to a strip club and I take them to a strip club, because I don't actually like strip clubs. I don't like them. I don't like them. I think they're boring as fuck. But if you take somebody who's never been to a strip club, that is instantly fun. That is a lot of fun. And I tell you what, man, that was a weird fucking night too. Because I take these three dudes that I've known for a long time, not YouTubers, just random internet guys, just been watching me since I had like 500 subscribers. And I take them to the strip club. And, you know, we get there and we go right up to the stage and we're sitting there like along the railing and whatnot. And they got the doe eyes going on because they've never been in a strip club before. I was like, all right, get out your ones. You know, we're going to start tipping the dancers and whatnot. And I hear this, hey, darling. And a very jarring voice. And I look up and there's this withered old, she looks like she's 50 something, maybe like 30 something with a lot of bad meth or something, I don't know, but this withered stripper who looks like a lot lizard grandma. And she comes walking over in this sexy lingerie and she goes, all right, darling, come here, beautiful, just lean against the stage. You're dealing with the massage mama tonight. And I'm like, the massage mama? What the fuck is this? I look over at my friends and they're horrified. They're like, what the fuck is going on? I'm like, I gotta roll with this. So I lean forward. This aged, withered stripper gave me the best back massage I've ever had in my fucking life. Right there on the stage. It's amazing. Right. It was amazing.
Yeah, I've never quite had that happen in that regard. When I was in LA for E3 back in 2003, I had a friend of mine from Seattle who had never been to a strip club. And we went to the Spearmint Rhino, mostly because they had at the time you could go to in front of E3 and there's a lot of promoters out there giving it lots of free shit, and they had the strip club was out there giving out free topless lap dance coupons.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm all like, well, I'm 21, I'm in LA, I don't have a girlfriend, I'm gonna go see some boobs. Yeah. And, so we take a taxi cab over to this place, and it's I will argue that out of all the clubs I've been to, it's still like the swankiest one. And you know, I go in there with my friend and say, all right, your first time going to a club, here's some ground rules. Don't use the ATM. Number one, don't use the ATM.
Right.
First thing we do when he gets in there is runs right to the ATM. And I'm like, dumbass, because you know what happens when you hit up an ATM at a strip club, it's like a fucking beacon goes off, man.
Oh yeah.
Right. So all of a sudden I hear this la 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 la, whatever the hell it is. It's just like this fat Israeli stripper. Not kidding you. She was fat. She runs up and she cups his nuts, and she's like, "You want to go in the back, huh? You want dance, huh? You want to fuck, huh?" Right? And he's just like. He's a virgin. He's like never had his dick touched before. He's like, you know, and then I'm just like, he's like, no, he's like, no, I'm all right. And she looks at me and she's like, what about you? And I'm like, no, I'm fine. And she's like, oh, okay. You know, she takes off running again and shit. Like, she had fucking energy. I'll give her credit.
Sure.
And then the next thing I say to him is, oh, rule number 2, don't get a dance from the first girl that you meet. Just don't do it. All right, you want to play, you want to walk the room, you want to see what's available, you want to talk to someone, right? Well, then all of a sudden, as I'm pulling money out of the ATM because I'm an idiot too, broke my own goddamn rule. Yeah. This one chick walks over and she's straight up LA 10, right? LA 10, and she's like, "You want to dance?" And these were full, like they had topless dances and full nude dances. Topless were 20, full nude were 40.
Okay.
And I'm like, that's fucking expensive. I'm fucking cheap. I'm gonna use my freebie. So basically, like, he takes off with her. Like, I turn around and he's gone. And I mean, I don't see this fucker for like an hour and a half. Right. And I'm just like, where the fuck did he go? Where the fuck am I going to go? Like, I'm at this club. I'm by myself at this point. I'll just go sit at the rail. I'll tip him out. It's fine. Well, do you know the porn star Julianne?
Yes, I do.
She was performing that night.
Oh, interesting.
She did 2 sets on stage. And both of the times she needed help from the audience, and both of the times it was me. right? So like the
Oh.
first one she did like this weird kind of like she did this like I think it was like a lotion. It was like a lotion dance. She like sprayed her body with lotion and wrathed around on the floor and shit. And she was looking for
Okay.
someone to like wipe her down. And apparently I'm like the most pathetic looking motherfucker there. Like porky dude. Like, I mean, I looked like the bad guy from Toy Story 2. I get that. And like all of a sudden she goes, "Hey, put out your hands." And I'm like, "Okay." So I put out my hands, and she covers them with the towel and like rubs her boobs
Yep.
on the towel. So I'm like I'm like rubbing her tits and everything. I was like, "Oh, this is awesome." And then like the next one was like it was a hot wax show was the next one, and so.
Okay.
She did like came out like a wife beater and like leather pants and like tore the wife beater and like it entered every orifice and then she was like, "Who wants the wife beater?" And I'm just like, "I do," and she gave me the wife beater. And I'm not going to sit there and sully the incident by telling you it doubled as a cum rag later, because it never did. I have more respect than that. But it was just one of those moments where I'm like, okay, apparently she liked me. And she was offering lap dances, I found out too. And I was like, I would have gone and paid for it. But like,
sure.
You've been really friendly to me all night. Like, let's see where this goes.
I think that stripper really likes me.
I think that's stripper. Yeah. Yeah. And you know what? I never got the opportunity to find out, but she's recently made a comeback in the MILF porn sector. And I'm just like, I'll take it. But no, I ended up running into my friend about an hour and a half later. And I'm like, "Dude, where the fuck have you been, man? What the fuck is going on?" And he goes, "Oh yeah, that was good." And I'm like, you okay?" And he's like, "Yeah, I can't pay rent next month, but yeah, I'm okay."
Yeah.
And I'm like, "Did you do the full nude?" He's like, "I did the full nude." And the thing is, if you don't know about strippers or strip clubs, the lap dances are 2.5 minutes, 2 to 2.5 minutes.
Yeah, it's not
per
very
song.
long at all.
That's how they get you. That's how they do it. But if and I'm like, because I have friends who are managers of clubs, right?
Okay.
And so, having friends who are, you learn all the ins and outs of the strip club. And so I know how to play the game. And he didn't. And yeah. I thought that was really funny because like he was broke.
God damn, dude. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. My main thing that I always say that I feel like is absolutely paramount for a cautionary tale about strip clubs is, like, strip clubs are fine. You'll lose a lot of money. They're not really necessarily worth the time or the money, the investment, that sort of thing. Like, you're stepping into a place where people are legitimately going to be trying to scam you out of money as much as possible. As long as you acknowledge that, it's fine. What you never fucking do is you never leave the strip club with a stripper. Don't you ever fucking do that. Ever. I brought a stripper home once. It was the weirdest fucking sexual experience I've ever had in my life. But the craziest one was a friend of mine was friends with a stripper, and he thought that they were actually homies, like they were chill. They were pretty cool and on the level. They were not. What ended up happening was we all went out to the strip club. Me, him, and another friend of mine. And this friend of mine was very well off. He owned like several businesses and whatnot. But my friend, who was friends with the stripper, decided that he didn't want us to follow him. He wanted to go and hang out with this stripper after everything closed. So I went off with my other buddy who owned a bar. We go to his bar. It's well past like close time. And we just sit there and we just continued to get drunk and drunk and drunk and drunk. At one point, I get a fucking call from this guy. And he's like, "Hey, man, I really need you to come and get me. I can't fucking deal with this anymore." I'm like, "Okay, all right, fine, fair." So we drive out there. We pick him up. And what ended up happening was he leaves with this girl. When she's in his car, asks him if he has $40. He says, "Yeah, I got $40." So she tells him to go and drive to the worst part of fucking town, takes the $40, runs out, comes back, then has him drive to her house, where she reveals that what she bought was crack. She then smokes half the crack with him, so he's all gacked out on crack. And then she goes upstairs and fucks her boyfriend while smoking the rest of the crack, while he's laying on the couch thinking he was going to nail this stripper. And instead, he's high as fuck on crack, listening to a stripper fuck her boyfriend. And then he called me.
Yeah. I had a buddy of mine, loves strippers. Like, he's in the military. Before he got married, every town we went to, strip club, he had it locked down. He would spend lots of money because he had lots of money to spend. And so he would basically buy his way in. Like, it's the legalest form of prostitution there is. But he would drop enough money up front to where it would be repeated sexual encounters without any kind of any kind of expectation for cash on the back end. But he would take him out for dinner and shit like that too. And so he started dating one girl, and I ended up meeting her friend, and her and I ended up kind of dating for like a summer. And it was the weirdest fucking thing because she was really into meth, and I had no way of knowing. She hit it so fucking well. And it wasn't until I introduced her to my friends who were in the military, who also were really into meth, and I didn't know. Apparently, I'm just oblivious if you're high on meth.
Yeah.
They ended up like really hitting it off, and the whole thing got like really, really, really bad. But then I found out like later on that this girl was like, we dated. We never really like, it never turned into this like really crazy thing. It was more like casual hangout. With like, unfortunately, like no sex, but actually I had to realize afterward the fact it's probably for the best. Cause she ended up getting, she was kind of turning tricks on the side. I basically figured out. So she would meet guys in the Navy, and she would, get them going pretty hard. And then she'd go home with them, and she'd get whatever she wants out of them, apparently money or drugs, I think. And, she would then like, that's how she would sustain herself. And so instead of paying rent, she, I guess, was like fucking her roommate. It was like a single Asian man. And she was like, I guess like she told me that she used to date him. I from what I discovered later on is that she basically was, I think, sleeping with him in order to keep rent down or whatever. So she's very much a manipulative person.
Yeah.
And we finally stopped kind of hanging out because I didn't know any of this at the time because I was going through a bit of a personal crisis with the family at that moment in time. So you know how it is. Your brain is just kind of everywhere. And so she was a good distraction, but she got married about probably 2 years later, 3 years later. I saw her like 2 years later for like really, really brief, but she got married, still doing the same tricks, right? She was married to a guy in the military, to a Navy guy, ended up getting raped, got herpes.
Oh no.
And then like this guy divorced her because we still had one mutual friend, and everything else at the time. We had one mutual friend. And that's how I found all this out. And I'm all like, man, that really sucks. But also it's kind of like, I'm like, yeah, she was like probably, because she was like really heavily into the manipulation game. Sure. And I think like she just got like, really in over her head. And so, but the funny thing is now is because she grew up about probably 30 minutes away from where I live right now.
Okay.
And I go up there pretty frequently. And every time I go to Tacoma, I'm always like, back of my head, like, am I just going to see her walking around?
Yeah.
That would just be super. Well, it's also been 12 years since I've seen her. So I don't even know what she looks like anymore. I can't even tell you what she looks like anymore. So
I kind of a thing like that happening with an ex that I broke up with her when we were living in New Orleans, and I warned her that she should probably not live in New Orleans without me. So it was kind of the only thing keeping her sane, but she ignored that. And when I finally caught back up with her, I think it was like, I don't know, 7-8 years later, she'd gotten strung out on heroin, lost everything, was homeless, living on the streets and shit like that. It was rough to watch, man. Very rough to watch. I don't understand. I honestly, like, I get the idea of why people fall into some of those really bad situations, but I've just never been that guy. I've never been that guy to fall into like those really, really destructive headspaces. I never got strung out on drugs, never like pissed away everything that I had because of like a substance. I don't know. I just don't get it.
I mean, I understand it. I understand like the desire of it, like, because my friend who was in the Navy, who like when he joined the Navy, he was a super stoner, right? Like they literally had to like lock him away for like about 6 weeks in order to keep him off of pot and get his body cleared enough to actually pass a drug test.
Oh,
That is how much THC was in the system. It took 6 weeks.
Jesus Christ.
And and the thing is, like, his recruiter was like running him every single day. Now, the reason why his recruiter gave a fuck is because my friend actually happened to be an Eagle Scout. And so that the recruiter gets an extra bonus. So it's in his best interest in order to get, sign an Eagle Scout.
Right.
And so they got my friend, and my friend has a highly addictive personality. So they get him, in the military, into the Navy. He's in basic, by the way, when 9/11 happens. So to give you an idea of when this was.
Yeah.
And so he comes back and he ends up getting stationed in San Diego. And finally, like, his mom and him, like, because he was living with his mom for a while and then she moved out. So he had the place. And that's when he got into meth. He got into meth in order to help fight back, to help stay awake during some of these longer shifts.
Yeah.
And the way he explained it to me was he's like, a lot of people don't realize that the backdoor draft is a thing. And
what does that mean?
The backdoor draft is if someone gets busted for a crime, like a serious enough crime, there might be the option on the table, we'll wipe this from your record. We'll drop all charges, but you have to join the military.
Oh, yeah.
And
okay.
that's the backdoor draft. Yeah. And so that's what it's called. It still goes on. It still very much goes on. And that's what he goes, what happens is you get these gang members that end up getting out of, they get arrested. They get told, military or jail. They choose military, and then they form gangs inside the military.
No shit.
No shit. Oh yeah, no shit, dude. Fucking tons. You'll find tons of stories of this kind of crap going down.
Wow.
And so, given the fact that meth is so easily obtained, especially when you're right next to the fucking border, they, and that you can make it anywhere, and they were making it, East County, San Diego. He got into this pretty hardcore. Like, and that's what ultimately ended up getting him booted out of the military. Was they tested him and he failed. And then he was still, when he got out, he was still heavily addicted to meth. And I mean, like, to the point of where people went to his house, because the trailer that he had, and they shattered all the windows on the outside. They just, they two guys showed up. He wasn't home. They smashed everything to shit. They called me up, or I got a call. I went to go check the place out, just drove by real quick. Our windows were all shattered. Everything was all shattered. And so then after that, he ended up going and getting a bit clean. But, it's like this kind of shit will get you. And, if you just have that kind of personality, it's not hard to slip back into it.
Yeah, man, that's fucking rough. That's crazy. Yeah, the whole culture of addiction, especially in this country, is really unfortunate. Really fucking unfortunate.
So I guess, okay, so it's about midnight where we are right now. I don't want to take up all of your night. I wonder if we could do some super chats real quick, because I got a couple of these that have come in.
Sure.
I want to hear from the straw man. Says, Jeff has the most beautiful eyes in all of YouTube. Fight me.
No,
you do.
Very much. Very
right
nice,
now, there's some glasses on. Got $5 from the nameless one. Just, that was it. No little text there. William Adderholt says, what do you think about Jimmy Kimmel, who started out on the Man Show giving a speech on Me Too? There's a subtle and brutal irony about that.
Yeah, there really
because this whole Me Too thing. He doesn't care. He give him girls on trampolines. He's happy.
Fuck, dude. Like, Jimmy Kimmel is one of the biggest fucking crocodile tear motherfuckers out there. Seriously. Like, I hate to say it, and I don't mean to be dismissive about it, but every single time that there's a fucking tragedy, Jimmy Kimmel comes out and he's got these fucking tears in his eyes. He's acting super emotional, and I find it obnoxious. I find it terribly obnoxious. Like, it feels like he's trying to recapture, like, the Jon Stewart post 9/11 moment. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah.
Yeah, that Daily Show that Jon Stewart did right after 9/11 was an insanely emotional moment. It feels like Jimmy Kimmel is desperately trying to have that one simple type of moment, and none of it feels genuine. It really honestly doesn't.
There's also a lot of the again, kind of circling back around to YouTube here, because haha, this is what we do.
Hey,
There was a lot of complaints about when like the Vegas shooting happened and even Parkland that ads would run on those videos.
right.
And if, because YouTube has this sensational and shocking content or tragedy you can't monetize, then why was that allowed?
Right.
Well, for those of you who don't know, because Kimmel draws in so many views on YouTube, they actually have, because of the preferred ads, the preferred partnership, they get to bring in their own ad buys.
Yep.
So he has a team, ABC at this particular point, that sells ad space on those channel or on those videos. YouTube gets their cut. They don't care because they didn't provide it through AdSense. So it's because it's a privatized thing, so much, so to speak. That's how they get away with that shit. But I agree with you about the crocodile tears. It really does come across like that, and it gets pretty disingenuous from time to time.
Fake. It just feels fake. I don't want to be condemning the dude for his tears, but like, it fucking comes across fake. I'm sorry.
I mean, I think like, yeah, because people kind of, I think after the whole thing with like the healthcare debate and like his kid got ill, people kind of turned to him for kind of like this almost like empathy take on it, where they look at like, let's say Stephen Colbert is more of like the biting commentary,
Right.
and everything else, and then they go to him for more of like the gentle approach.
Sure.
To the entire thing. So I don't know necessarily like how much of that like comes across as genuine, but Kimmel, like the thing is, all these comedians, like look at Sarah Silverman. She comes out there. They used to date for a long. I think Jimmy Kimmel actually left his wife while on the Man Show to be with Sarah Silverman.
Really?
Yeah. Oh yeah. He was married with like 2 kids when the Man Show was a thing. Like his wife would frequently appear on the show.
With the Jewish princess.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
And so they ended up getting a divorce, and he ended up hooking up with her, and then they broke up, and then now he's married to somebody else, and he's got like 2 kids with this other woman and stuff. And it's kind of like, him out there going like, yeah, this is a guy who did the girls on trampolines, all that shit from the 90s, which was fucking funny. If you could find the replays, they're fucking great.
Yeah.
Not when they did the Doug Stanhope fucking Man Show. That was lame.
Yeah, that was lame as fuck.
But I find it pretty ironic that guy is out there giving out the Me Too speech, like he said tonight. I think he says like, I wish I was a woman or something along those lines tonight.
I couldn't bear to pay that much attention, honestly.
Yeah.
It wouldn't surprise me though. It honestly wouldn't surprise me.
That was, I mean, that's the whole nature of the entire show. We got here, Mr. DJ Fly High for $5 Australian. Says, turns out Rose McGowan was actually the massage mama.
No, this look, the massage mama in the Anaheim strip club did not look like Rose McGowan. If she looked like Rose McGowan, I wouldn't have let her touch me. No, she was far more withered, but had a much more sunny disposition than Rose McGowan.
Well, if it was like Rose McGowan, let's say circa 1997, it's a different story.
Never been into her. Never. No. I don't know, man. Maybe I think I could smell crazy at this point. I think I just like automatically was unattracted to Rose McGowan right away.
Yeah. I mean, I'm a little bit on the different side. I kind of happen to. Crazy is kind of cool to me. I guess it's a problem. I think it's because like I'm so kind of like laid back and chill on most things that like the crazy aspect is like so out of the realm of norm for me that it's just kind of like, yeah, it's hot.
Man, when you've done as many drugs as I have, you have to start really thinking about survival after a while, and you just kind of like, nah, that girl's gonna leave me in a gutter.
Yeah. Oh, okay. Well, what the fuck? Oh no, I just got a thing. Apparently, Tonka's all bitching because you're on the show.
Oh, is Tonka mad because I'm on your show?
Yeah, it's because when I announced that you're gonna be on, that is oh, what is it that I said, oh, someone's like, oh, why are you platforming Jeff? I'm like, Jeff's my friend.
I tell you what, if Tonka's got a problem with me, Tonka can come on my new show, the Midday Siesta Moon Jumate. All right? You know what? Tonka, if you got any balls, Tonka Saw, you can come on the Moon Jumate. Otherwise, fuck off, all right? You know?
What I love is that they're trying to claim, oh, you're bringing them on. You're bringing them on. You want your own boring version of internet blood sports. I'm all like, we've been talking about YouTube the entire time, the process of YouTube and other stories of our life. We're not really engaging in what one may call internet blood sports. But you know what? Fuck it. While we're on the subject, I have to. I just wanted. I tuned in a little bit to the Bloodapalooza yesterday.
Sure.
I tuned in because I figured I was watching the baby. I'm like, there's nothing much else on YouTube. I jumped over. I was bored to fucking tears. I was bored to tears.
Some of that, I tell you what. Some of them were okay.
Like I caught the Sofane Andy Hugfest, and everything else. And I'm sorry for a person who wants to engage in fights and shit. Andy is the most butthurt motherfucker. I feel like I should give him some preparation H, because of like how you could tell how hurt he is by everything, which is fine.
He's very wounded. I tell you what though, I'll be as honest with you as I possibly can here.
All right,
look, the thing is, honestly, I have known people like Tonka for a very long time, and I've been friends with lots of dudes like Tonka Saw. I still like Tonka Saw. I do. Dude fucking hates my guts. He fucking hates me. I still like him. When he goes off on some of his rants, man, I actually still really like his rants. I like his rants. I like his taste in music. Dude likes ABBA. I like fucking ABBA.
Who doesn't like ABBA? I don't understand. That's like
he got some shit because he likes ABBA. Like
that's fucking weird, dude. I love ABBA. I don't get that.
Yeah, dude, fucking ABBA's the shit, man. Like I like gay music too. I don't give a fuck. Who gives a fuck? But the thing is, I still like Tonka. And I don't begrudge anybody making money off of blood sports. I don't begrudge anybody making money off the shit that happened with me. I don't care, dude. It's fine. I know this game. I know the YouTube game. It's totally fine. I got no fucking problem with Tonka or the Kumite or any of that kind of shit. If that's what people want to watch and people want to enjoy it, fine. Fucking do it. That's cool. Not really necessarily my cup of tea, but it's fine. I got a problem with one fucking person on this platform. One person for one specific reason, which nobody knows what it is because I have not stated what my problem with that person actually is. And I'm very, very willing to talk to that person, but I am not willing to talk to that person if they or somebody else is going to make money off it. I tell you right now, if any of that drama actually ends up happening to be some big ass blood sports, I get those fucking super chats. And anybody who wants to try and promote it any other way, you can kiss my fucking ass. I get those super chats, bitch. Fuck you.
That's the thing is like, my only real complaint with internet blood sports in the early stages of it, is mostly everything about, it was more of an attack and not a conversation.
Oh yeah.
Right.
Well,
okay. Like, I just for clarification's sake, and I love that Poisoning the Well brought this up on their stream about Andy when they said that, it's like, oh, you should be able to criticize your friends and not be a bitch about it.
Oh yeah.
I think there's a bit of a difference between criticizing your friends and going on an all outright attack against your friends.
I would say that's
my point of this one. And my evidence for this, is, like, just to be fair, Tonka's mad at me because I told him to calm down about you, because it wasn't even about the fucking server. I was like, he was literally spurging out over the subject matter. Like you couldn't even remotely have it was like, calm the fuck down. Like you need to like, you can't discuss. I get it, you're upset, but it's like, go fuck a cactus or something and like calm the fuck down. Like right. That's the whole point. Is like, that's what I was saying. Like, just let it go. Like, just, like, beat off in a bush somewhere, let the fuck go, because you can't get past it if that's all you're going to harp on. That's all I was saying to him. But by that point in time, it was everything had already kind of blown up and the way things were going anyway. But no. When Andy runs a stream all about how I unfollowed him on Twitter, that's kind of one of those things where you're just like, you know, and you remember, no, you remember that too. You remember that. That was a Christmas Day tweet because you told me that, you know, and it was just like,
is that not the most pathetic beta bitch shit?
It is, yeah. It's all because what it was is I told, and then a couple weeks ago when I said like fucking Andy will do anything for super chats, he DM'd me on Twitter and he's all like, well, we fucking talk about this. I'm like, all right, well, you know, I said, all right, man. He says, bro, back off or some shit. And I'm all like, you mock me, I mock you. That's the way this thing goes.
You're not allowed to mock him.
Oh no, apparently I'm not. But he can sit there and pull up my video of my fucking silver play button and try to use that not only on the Kumite but on his channel as a way to like fucking mock me. But I can't respond in kind. That doesn't work out this way and shit. You want
to know something really funny? You want to know something really funny? You know how Andy at one point decided he was gonna do this whole stream, right? He was gonna be bashing on me. I hadn't talked about him for fucking weeks. He decides he's gonna watch the I Am Kekistan video that I put together. You want to know what's really fucking funny about that?
What's that?
I have a fucking DM in my fucking Twitter box of him apologizing to me profusely because he was so pissed that he didn't get his submission in on time to be in that video. I have it right in my fucking inbox, dude. He was so pissed. He was like, fuck, dude, I'm so sorry. I really wanted to be in your What is Kekistan video.
Oh, Jesus.
This dude is such a fucking beta bitch. He's such a pussy.
It's the thing.
Everything about this shit that he brings up is bullshit. The dude is a lying sack of shit. And this is what's so amazing. This is what's so fucking amazing, right? The thing that Andy is mad at me for is me lying to him, which I did lie. I will admit it. I fucked up, man. I lied. I did. I fucking lied.
You did. And I called you out for this the other day when we hung out, too.
You did. And you called me out when it fucking happened, man. Like, you and a bunch of our friends called me out when it fucking happened, and you should have. But you did it in private like fucking adults. Now, the thing is, though, the thing that Andy has against me is that I lied to him about something that had nothing to do with Andy. It had nothing to do with him. I lied about something that had something totally else that he wasn't even fucking involved in. And I lied under duress, which was still a stupid fucking thing to do. But that has justified now 3 months of this fucking whiny little basic beta bitch crying about me for 3 fucking months. But do you want to know why he's been doing it? I'll tell you right now. I'll tell you why he's been doing it. He's guilty. He feels fucking guilty because he knows what he did to me that night.
With the Kekistan thing?
No. The night that the lie happened, something happened that night after the stream went offline and we were talking in private. Something very, very, very specific happened, and he knows what happened, and I know what happened, and nobody else knows what happened. And I'm not going to tell you what happened.
No, yeah. Honestly, there's certain things I don't even care about. That's generally speaking one of them. But sure, I think
the simple matter is the only reason why he is actually still pissed at me because there's no reason why anybody in their right fucking mind would go off for 3 fucking months crying like a fucking bitch because of a lie that had nothing to do with him. Nobody in their right mind would actually do that. No sane fucking person would. The reason why he keeps doing it is because he's guilty. Because I did not leave to alleviate his fucking guilt. And I'm not going anywhere. I'll be right here.
every Thursday and Sunday on YouTube Saints.
That's right.
Look, a lot of this shit is fucking pointless. Like a lot of this crap, like I don't even fucking bring it up, like, unless like it gets brought to my fucking attention. And even then, like the only reason why I brought this up is because it's Blackface Kermit, the guy who put together the Turn Off That Pesky Ad Block video.
Yeah.
Like, Mr. fucking wannabe, he has had his mouth firmly wrapped around Jim's cock now for years. 4 years.
Oh, sure.
Right. And it's like, the thing is, I have nothing against Andrew. that fucking meme is funny, but Jesus fucking Christ. Like, dude, everyone knows it. If Jim hit you up and it's like, dude, I need you to swallow my load, you'd be like, in a heartbeat, just where you want it, you know?
Yeah.
And that's the thing.
Pause me up, bro. Pause me up.
Yeah, it's one of those things where it's like, the general idea here is I don't care about like, I whatever anger I felt towards generally internet blood sports has been long gone. At this point now, I just like to fucking watch people get angry. And that's about it.
Fun. It's actually really fun.
It's because they think like my favorite thing is the whole video, which I saw people even mention that in the chat too, was like my silver play button. Like, and I've told this to you, like, and you know, like I got swatted a few months earlier than that. So the whole fucking thing was very much an emotional moment. And I'm fine with that. I have no problem. Like, I fucking love that thing, and that's fine. And it's like, but trying to use it against me is one of those things where it's like, if you think I'm going to like just sit here and not point and laugh at you for that, you're fucking wrong. Because the thing is, let's be realistic here. Most of the people who are bitching at me or bitching about that are probably never going to get it. And that has a lot to do with the fact that they don't have the desire to get it. This is one of the problems with the lower end pockets of some people on YouTube. They get stuck in their little corner, and they like being there because it's safe. It's they have their audience, they have their groups, and they never feel the need to try to expand past that. And the thing is they get upset at people who do. When I first started off, there were people that I was hanging out with that had like 15, 20,000 more subs than me. And I was like, oh my God. Right. And the thing is, they are so caught in their own niche that here it is, 5 years later almost. And they're still at that same subscriber count. They've never grown as a creator because they've never taken it seriously. So if Tonka or Andy want to think that by, bringing up that video and mocking me and in any way hurt my business, they did not. Even when Jim miscategorized or took what I said out of context in his Kilroy video, of which I have called him out publicly on and directly to him, and he never responded. Like the thing is that, cost me a few subscribers. The next day I had them all back.
Yeah.
So the idea here, and the reason why I'm bringing it up is because if you are a person who does this, you're going to encounter these kind of situations. People out there who don't care about objectivity and don't care about necessarily getting to the objective truth over a situation, but just want to push their own particular brand of shit posting, are always going to be there. And sometimes they're going to be big and sometimes they're going to be small, and you're just going to have to take it in stride. That's the whole point. So, that's kind of where we are right now. Look, if Tonka's doing well on a show, no one can deny that. He's got people watching him and shit. Good for fucking him.
Good for him, man.
I'm good. I'm happy. Like, look, it's good. It's morning shit. All right. I mean, like, it's, he does well. I do think the 6-hour streams are far too fucking long. Because there are people that come to me and they say like, oh, did you hear about, they talked about you on the Kumite, and I'm like, I really don't care. And like, they're like, oh no, it's somewhere around the 4-hour mark. And I'm like, what? Like, I'm not going to listen. I don't care.
I'll put it this way. So I recently sat down with another YouTuber who, for a time when the whole drama thing happened, they made a bunch of streams and he called me out. I won't name the guy because it's irrelevant. But we sat down, we talked, and we decided we were just gonna hash it out. We did it in private and whatnot. And the guy ended up wanting to apologize to me because he didn't know like the full story, and he felt bad. And I was like, dude, don't feel bad about it. It's totally fine. Like, the thing is, if you go off only the information that's been put out there by the largest voices in the fucking room, then you're going to go off based on the largest voices in the fucking room. And from how it was being painted, like, yeah, I'm this giant piece of shit. I tried to dox Coach Red Pill, blah, 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 blah. All this kind of shit. I told him flat out, look, did you make your fucking rent in them super chats? And he said, yeah, dude. I made like 3 months rent in that super chats. And I said, good. Then you played the game right. And that's totally understandable. It's totally fine. I don't feel bad about it. I'm not mad about it. It's totally cool. Whatever. It's not a big fucking deal. And I mean that. I really legitimately do. That's why I don't get mad at like Tonka Like if Tonka watches a stream and he clips us up and whatnot, and he's like, "Fuck Jeff Holiday," blah blah blah, and like looks at all this shit and whatnot, and he decides to run with it. Dude, fuck, if it's gonna get you them super chats, man, have fucking at it, Tonka. Go for it. I don't give a fuck. Because this is the game that we live in. This is the platform that we all work at. And I know Tonka at least has a lot of integrity, that if he sees somebody doing something shady, like people trying to dox me, people sending fucking death threats towards me or my kid or my wife, Tonka calls it out. So I know he still has integrity as a human being, and I respect that about him. But if he can work the system and he can use like me or my clips or like little sound bites and whatnot to make money, fuck, dude, do it. I don't give a fuck. It's fine.
Yeah, no, pretty much. Like it's what was it? What was the Brian from Honey Badgers was saying something like pissing off Jim is really good advertising for his brand.
Oh yeah.
Like because the way I look at it's like this. And you could agree or disagree, but what yesterday the Bloodpalooza and like I said, like I only came in through Sofane and I stayed a little bit for Jim's,
sure.
and I got bored with the whole process,
sure.
And the thing is you know, on a fight like that, Tonka should have had more people watching than a standard weekday Kumite, and you had like less than 3,000 people watching. And you know that you got Jim and you got the big full day event and people are coming in and shit. It's gonna end up. You should have had more for that. There should have been a lot more coming in. And what that tells me is that I'm not alone in my thoughts on that. And it's not to say that the podcast style of it, the talk radio style of it's gonna go away. It's not. There's clearly gonna be people there. But the idea of these blood sports, honestly, that last guy they brought in for that fought Jim. The Destiny fan or whatever, man, like all that guy would have had to do to just win literally is to not even play. All he would have had to do is just basically go meek and not give him the energy, not give him the fight. Because there's sometimes he did that a little bit, and it just so I got boring. Jim was trying to overcompensate, and that's ultimately where I see the defenders of the blood sport right now is overcompensating. The audience is there to an extent, but they're waning. A lot of people are waning. That's, you know, a lot of people are kind of done with it. They're kind of done with the I think a lot of the fights. I think yesterday was meant to be the biggest fight of the year, and it was lackluster. It was boring. It was basic. It was just like, you know, Jim versus some rando was the main bout. Like, really? You don't sit there and put your, you know, you treat that as a warm-up fight, right? I
don't really wish any ill will towards any of the channels. I mean, like, you know,
I don't wish ill will either. I'm just saying, you know, I'm saying the content is just, it's like people can only take so much, right? Like, sure. Okay, look, I'll put it to you like this, and I've said this before in defense of Tonka.
Yeah,
the style of what he does is very similar to that of the WWE,
which is great,
and that's fine. It's a perfectly valid style to emulate. It works. The downside to it is that if you don't have that soap opera, if you don't have a heel in order to go up against to make it interesting and engaging to the audience, the longevity of the project is going to fail. This is simple entertainment 101. This is how the industry works. You know, the razor, like you say, the fad of the blood sports in the first stages of it, right? You had Sargon versus Richard Spencer, 12,000 people watching. And then Sargon versus Richard Spencer, 8,000 people watched. Now, no small number, don't get me wrong, but it's not 12,000. Sargon's chosen to not fight anymore. He doesn't want to, right? Or he is going to go up against the Marxist, I think, sometime this week, but on that person's channel. So that could draw a lot of views to that. But it's not going to be in the same format, not going to be the same style. These things, they have an ebb and flow to them. And if you don't structure it the right way, it's eventually going to crap out and die because the audience is not going to know which way. They're just going to lose interest. And I think that's what I think these channels that are kind of banking on this right now are going to realize. And additionally, you're able to kind of run the rage game and to some extent. And then what happens when all you do is bring on the same people? What's going to happen when people start looking at the accessibility to Andy or to Medicare as being something that is just now relatively expected? Instead of being a special guest to pop up, something to get excited for, it just becomes more of the same. And this is the like, people could sit there and disagree with me all they want, but I've lived and breathed the entertainment industry for most of my life. So, I 3,000 people for Bloodapalooza is kind of proof in the pudding for
I'll put it this way too. Here's another thing. Like, you brought up the heel thing. And that's actually pretty important here. It's like, WWE only works because you have your hero, you have your faces, and you have your heels, right?
Yeah.
Now the problem is that the heels are specifically designed to be heels, and the heels are getting paid, and the heels know that they're heels under this type of structure. Now that works great for WWE. However, if you are actually trying to actively make people heels, you start finding that you're going to start running out of heels. Like, for the longest time, I didn't say anything about this shit. I kept my head way fucking down. I just focused on my videos. And for the most part, I still am just focusing on my videos. This is my day off. I get to fuck around. At this point, because Andy pussied out on even wanting to talk to me, like, I just don't give a fuck anymore. I just don't give a fuck. But I'm still going to be focusing on my shit. But, like, obviously, people want me to be a heel. I would be very, very into the idea of being a heel. If I was getting a cut of that fucking super chat money, I would be a hell of a damn good heel. I would play that shit up like a motherfucker. But
and that's what I've said before too, is if you are engaging in these fisticuffs and you aren't getting a cut of the action, then you're being played.
Absolutely.
And that's the whole point, is you want, like, do you want in and there's money? Don't waste my fucking time. Pay me or fuck off.
You start seeing, like, they keep trying to, like, drag people in to be heels, right? They try and drag you in. They try and drag, like, Ranting Monkey in. They try and drag, like, Hi, I Think I'm Real in. At times, they've even tried to drag Bunty into it. And Bunty's the nicest fucking guy on the goddamn planet. Like, you can't drag Bunty into this kind of shit. They're trying to drag anybody they possibly can in who might have possibly anything negative to say about the blood sports thing or Kumite or whatever. That's not how you play a heel, dude. Like, if you want to do this like sports entertainment, the heel's got to be in on the fucking gig. That's where it's at. It doesn't work otherwise. Ultimately, people don't want to play anymore. They don't want to play anymore. They don't want to be a party to it, let alone, like, and that's just Kumite. That's just Kumite. And that might be, like, one of the problems with it. There are still people who want to play with them. And I don't want Kumite to stop. I think that when it's on, when Kumite really works, it's a great fucking show. It's a great show. A lot of it's pretty boring, but when it's on, it's fucking great. But the other one, which is Warski Live, they've been talking about how they have this problem that they're having trouble getting people on to counter these types of arguments, like the alt-right or actual, like, legit white supremacists or neo-Nazis, that sort of thing. They never really ask why. Why are they having problems with people wanting to come onto the show and talk about this? Well, why do you think they're having problems with that? Maybe this is just me, like, theorizing. Maybe I'm fucking crazy. But maybe people don't want to be put into a position where their name is then forever going to be attached to, I don't know, neo-Nazis. I'm just saying, maybe they don't want to do that. Maybe people don't want, when somebody looks up their brand or their name or their structured social media presence, they don't want on that search result to be attached to a stream hosted half by a fucking white nationalist, like, giving platforms to fucking neo-Nazis and race realists. Maybe people don't want to do that. Maybe.
I think some, yeah. I mean, is it also boils down to kind of like the same argument popping up over and over and over again. It's similar to kind of what killed the anti-SJW side of things, because it was always the same argument. As much as I like some people, like some content, I could not watch all of their videos. Even if I was interested in the subject matter, I was just like, I don't fucking care. Like, I know what you're going to say. I know exactly how you're going to say it. I know the wording you're going to use. And it just became like give me something new. Give me a difference of opinion. Maybe agree with what they have to say on certain issues instead of just the same fuck you, you dumb, stupid cunt rhetoric. And I just stopped paying attention. And again, that's kind of how these things tend to go. Yeah, I understand people not wanting to have their names associated with the like national, neo-Nazis or white nationalists and whatnot. Because I think that deep down, it's like a lot of us, we kind of understand how it works. But just kind of look at the cottage industry that surrounds not only the Kumite, but Andy, right? You've got Kronos and you've got those other guys that snippet out all the clips. And then they go off and they upload them and whatnot. And now there's more and more that are doing it, I've noticed. And I know this because somehow my name gets attached to something like a tag or something. And so I'll get a Google notification for it. And so I'll see that and I'm like, oh, okay, so more people are doing that shit. Which is good for trying to reach to a new crowd, but it also essentially ends up putting someone's name in with somebody else. So even if it's a subject matter that may not be 100% connected, it could still find its way to being connected, which could then give someone the wrong impression.
Right.
Ultimately, listen, I think we both can agree, like, neither one of us have anything wrong with the Kumite. They do their thing. Fine.
That is fine.
When it comes to the idea, like, my beef was the outright attacks on friends.
Yep.
My biggest thing was when Andy drug in, or got Repsy on to come into a stream, and then hounded him to denounce liking one of my tweets, poking fun at them. like these things legitimately happened. The holding a stream because I unfollowed him, all that shit. So it's kind of like, and then Andy will, he was trying to hit me up in order to see, like, what was he was trying to hit me up to be like, he would come at me and say stuff like, I'm just looking out for you. I'm just trying to protect your reputation. I'm like, from what? From you? Like,
yeah.
Like, who the fuck do you think you are? Like, who the fuck are you to tell me you're going to protect my, like, no, like, I like you. I have nothing against you, but don't come to me like we're anywhere near on the same wavelength. In this regard, we're not. We're not. Like, it's one of those things where it's like, the thing that pissed me off when it came to Kilroy was no one called out Dave Cullen. No one called out Dave Cullen for what he did. I finally got, and I won't say the person's name, but it's a YouTuber everyone who's watching right now will know, who was involved in some of that shit. When I talked to that person, they were like, fuck Dave for how he played that game. Because Dave got caught up in the drama and didn't want people being mad at him. From my understanding, from what I was told by multiple sources. And that was the thing, is like, and that's where I'm like, I like Dave quite a bit. I think Dave is a gentle, sweet, loving man. I like that guy a lot.
I like him a lot too.
And I got mad because nobody was like ever questioning how Dave was going about approaching some of these people. And then the fact that Sister Danger and Dave were not meshing. And that should have been, I think, more explained, but there was, trying to think of the betterment of I guess you say the event at the time. And then it all kind of fell apart. So when you had that and you had the Kraut server kind of hitting at the same time, it turned into this gigantic battle.
What's really funny? It's really funny. 4 days before the drama thing happened, Andy and I were talking about getting a fucking Airbnb together at Gilroy. You know that?
Well, I know Mems and I have been talking about that for us, but yeah, I didn't know Andy was going to be involved.
Oh yeah. No, well, back in December, like,
okay.
he and I just days. That's why I think it's so interesting when he tries to paint it like he and I were not actually very close, because we were actually super close. 4 days before this whole drama thing happens, and he got that smell of the fucking money coming in. He and I were talking about getting this badass fucking spot for Kilroy. He was excited about Kilroy, all about it, dude, all about it, super into it. But then as soon as it's, oh, well, it's fashionable to be shitting on Kilroy. Ha ha ha. All of a sudden, like, well, I was never really that into Kilroy, and blah. Dude, fucking fake ass bullshit. Total fake ass bullshit.
My favorite thing
Lying
about that was
jacket shit.
when he tried talking on behalf of when he was speaking on behalf of Lauren Southern and James Alsop and Baked Alaska and Faith Goldie.
Yeah.
And then every time it would come out like, well, you're not the alt-right. And he was like, but I didn't get my panel. So it's like, are you talking about you or are you talking about the alt-right? Like, who are you speaking for right now? And can you please raise a flag when you do? So I know, am I talking to Dr. Jekyll or am I talking to Mr. Hyde? Like, this is the thing. This is the problem. But by then, what you had ultimately were emotions were running so fucking high. And I'm not saying I'm any better. I had just had my daughter. I was sleep deprived for like 3 fucking weeks. And I was like not putting up with anyone's shit. So like, I didn't like, cause I went in, I think I went into the Kumite or something to talk about something. And I got my wires crossed for like what we were going to be talking. Cause I didn't know about the Discord server at the time. Not all the details about the Discord server. So I thought we were talking about like the Kilroy shit with like Dave and the alt-right. That's what I thought we were talking about. And then it was also the Kilroy or the server. And I had no fucking idea about what was going on with the server. So I think when I came in and that thing was kind of a clusterfuck, it had a lot to do with just like miscommunication and crossed wires. I had no idea. And I'm going like, and at the end of it, I'm like, wait, like what the fuck's even going on half this shit? Like I don't know. So, and then it just kept going. And turned into this fucking, this huge fucking mess of a situation.
Oh yeah, absolutely. Everything basically just became cannon fodder for
I love
whatever was popular.
Real quick though, people are like, I guess we have some dislikers coming in the room. You guys realize that by disliking the video, it still adds to the overall engagement of the video. Dislikes have absolutely zero effect on it. I don't know if you guys know that about YouTube. They really do. I don't know if you know this either, Jeff. Dislikes have zero effect.
It actually technically counts as
interaction
like, through. Yeah, as interaction on a fucking stream. Yeah.
So I'm just saying it's kind of like I'm pointing that out. So when you dislike a video, it actually will help it in the long run. So there's something to consider on that. But I mean, listen, okay, I think because I don't want to sit there and spend like fucking like 8 more hours about this drama and shit, and I feel stupid for bringing it up. But ultimately, it boils down to this. If Jeff, you said you talked to Andy. I saw your tweet today, and then Andy wants you on his stream.
Yeah, no, fuck
and
that.
Also because look, let's be realistic, and if Andy hears this, good. And I would say it to his face too. He stacks the deck.
Oh yeah.
Look at these. I forget what. There's many streams that I've caught wind of. I think it was the Baked Alaska. I forget. It was Laura Loomer, Medicare, Baked Alaska, right? And for some reason, Andy was there. And then all of a sudden, like Lauren Southern came in to take on Laura Loomer. And Andy had given Lauren Southern the link to the Hangout.
Right.
Well, he's done that before. Where if you look at like Ranting Monkey going in there, it was like Ranting Monkey versus like 3 people. Roosh V versus like 3 people. It always feels like the decks are always stacked against the opposition. Even if you don't agree with the opposition, that's kind of, they stack it with their friends and then they shout that shit down. So it's like when I was going in the Kumite and talking with Andy and Tonka, they brought in fucking Johnny Fox for no other reason. I was laughing in Johnny's face the entire fucking time. And people were like, oh, you lost that one. I'm like, did I really? Because nothing in there was like, listen to it again. Listen to the first 7 fucking minutes, but that's the whole point, is like stacking that deck against the person you're trying to shout down. Right. That is ultimately what I see in a lot of these cases. And when the clips come across my desk, because people send me this kind of shit all the fucking time. Oh, so sure. That's more or less where it's at. Like, if you want to have a discussion, fine. Like, I honestly, as much as Crazy Hair is fucking psychotic, and you know this, Crazy Hair is crazy. I think we can agree. We know. I'm not
that one, man. That one, boy. I just try and avoid talking about her.
No. All I'm saying is like, she had a good point when Andy was trying to get her on to come talk to him.
Uh-huh.
She had said, like, you know, like, no, I will do this at a third party place who
Right.
has control, who won't bring in other people. And he didn't get back to her.
Well, good for her then. Good
And
for
I
her.
give her credit there, because she was trying to control it so there wouldn't be a dog pile. Because I you know, as much as I'm not a fan, because she kept repeatedly lying about me that night and everything else, she was trying to at least protect one aspect of it. And so, like, okay, fine, I get that. I get that.
I want nothing but good things for that woman. I'm not happy with her. I don't think I'll ever be happy with her, but I don't wish her anything but the best. I'll put it that way.
Yeah, sure. That's your opinion. We can disagree. But
I'll put it this way. Because some people have been very confused about it today, because I did make the offer to Andy. Andy has made plenty of money off of me over the past few months. So I will not go on his show. Number one, because I don't trust that he will actually face me by himself, because I think he's a pussy. Number two, I think that he will not face me without his emotional support audience and the screaming hordes of people trying to prop his dumb fucking ass up. I don't think he will. I'm not going to go on the Kumite because, again, I don't think that he's actually going to be able to face me by himself. And lastly, I want to face him on my channel, not necessarily because I feel like it's going to be my audience. He'll probably bring his whole audience to go and lift his fucking sack for him as much as they need to, but also because, and I'm going to be totally fucking honest with you, I want that fucking money. I'm not even going to fucking lie about it. Andy will be like, it's not about the super chats. This is about integrity. You lying sack of shit.
yeah, that's why when I mentioned super chats and fucking Sinatra screen capped it and sent it off to him and shit, he was fucking in my DMs like 5 minutes later.
Yeah,
So-
no. Fuck you, dude. Fuck you. You don't get to make any more fucking money off me unless you do the bitch ass move you've been doing, which is crying about my tweets on a fucking stream. That's what you've been fucking doing. Crying about my tweet or watching my videos that you were pissed that you didn't get a chance to be in. Challenge me on that, Andy. I still got those fucking DMs, you little bitch. Look, the simple matter of the fact is this. If you want to have it out with me, we can have it out. But I get to make that motherfucking money. Not you this time. You got 3 months of that shit. We done. It's my turn.
Well, there we have it, folks. There we have it. There's the gauntlet's been thrown down.
Or he could just be
tonight.
a pussy and keep running his mouth. You know, that's fine.
You know what? To be fair, I think a lot of us kind of run our mouths. We do. It's part of the game,
Sure.
which is absolutely true. But I do honestly, wholeheartedly, 100% agree and believe that it is for the betterment of everybody that beefs get squashed. It is going to be harder in some cases, simply because of actions taken by people. Not saying I'm referring to not only myself, things I've said, other people, things other people. I'm not going to sit there and act like I'm higher above other people. I've fucking made some snide ass goddamn comments and trolled like a motherfucker just to anger some people. I'm not saying it's any different. So if we want things to get better, then this got to be good, but it's got to be done in a neutral place. So it's either got to be like a live stream, which look, here's the fucking truth of it too. It doesn't even need to be a goddamn fucking live stream. It could just be like a fucking Discord hangout, right? That's like a private, get like everyone in there, talk it out, be done with it. But because of the blood sport nature of it all, it's people don't want that. They want to do it in a public place because they think there's some fucking coin to be earned.
He's got my phone number. He has my phone number right now. He has my phone number. I've told him to call me. I've told him to contact me in private and deal with this like a fucking adult for months now. Months. Fucking pick up the phone. Call me. He won't do it.
I mean, that's on him. I think, I honestly feel like this YouTube Saints is probably my favorite show on YouTube right now.
Hey.
I like watching it. Well, I like watching it. I didn't get a chance to watch it tonight because I fucking had shit to do. But I think what it is everyone everyone has the opportunity, I think, at this point, because 2018 is going to all be about the building up of other content. 2018, given the way the YouTube apocalypse is working, or the update on it all, we're going to end up seeing a lot of people migrating over to Twitch or migrating over to other platforms. And they're also going to be seeking out, like, shows like this to have conversations and everything else. And that's going to be, I think, probably for the best. We can squash this shit very, very, very quickly. It just depends if the people, if everyone wants to do that. And I don't feel that everybody wants to do that. And I feel like as it goes on, as it continues, if it gets past winter into spring, maybe into summer, and like, it's gonna start building and building and building. And the last thing any of the audience wants, I think, or maybe I want for the audience, I should say, is to have it become an us versus them mentality, right? Or like an audience versus audience mentality. Because there are people in here right now that are clearly fans of Tonka, and they're trying to downvote the video, and the chat is what it is, and so on and so forth. They can have their opinion. I'm not against that type of shit. It's one of those things where it's like, oh, we got fucking Repsion in here too. That's cool.
What's up, Dan? How you doing?
So I guess you're, because Mems is going to be up in my neck of the woods next week.
Yep.
So we're trying to sort that out.
Yeah, man. I tried to convince her to go on DP, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
Well, I don't know. Well, I don't know what's going on with that right now, because they, I guess they're switching studios.
Yeah. Actually, I was messaging to Ben tonight. I was texting with him. Yeah, no, I think he's actually moving the studio right now.
Yeah, no, that's what I was hearing from someone. I like that location though.
I liked it too, but I mean, fuck, dude, I hate Bellevue. Bellevue is just fucking disgusting. It's like the Beverly Hills of Seattle. Ugh.
Oh, I know, but it's I think I wonder, like, if that 24-hour stream was just like kind of like the last hurrah.
No, I think they're gonna keep going very strong. I mean,
Well, no, I'm sorry. I mean the last hurrah for that location.
Oh, for that location. Yeah, no, that was the last party for that studio. Yeah, no, it's done. It's done. They're done with it.
Yeah. I mean, no, I like where the Drunken Peasants has gone. I like Ben. I like Billy the Fridge. Pimp Monk was nice. Repsion says, I hope they move further south. I do too, because I don't want to drive into fucking Bellevue.
Yeah, jeez, fuck that.
Because it's a drive. It's a bitch, and everything else. When I drove back from up there, my GPS sent me the wrong way. It took me like 20 miles east, and I'm just going like, where the fuck am I? Like, I should be getting to the 5, and I'm out by Snoqualmie Falls. What the fuck's going on out here? Stupid Google.
Yeah.
Well, I think probably should wrap this thing up, and it's over 3 hours and stuff.
Sure, man.
So if you hold on, let me just kind of give the outro here. So anyone, thanks for coming in. It's been kind of a lot longer, but I do want to do more of these, bring on people and have good conversations. I know that some people in the audience aren't huge fans of Jeff. I would recommend give the guy another go. I've known him for a while, and he's been nothing but kind. Everyone makes mistakes. Everyone could admit they made mistakes, and then moving on from there, as I think the best course of action for everyone. And I think that's for the best. But I'll be back on tomorrow night, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard Time, for another 4 stories, because that's how I rock on this shit. And I will talk to you guys later. If you haven't already subscribed to Jeff's channel, link will be below in the video description. Peace out.